child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him, and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear, and would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to the final series for the Casual Esports Amateur League Season 3. Super excited to bring you the Ionian Finals. This is going to be Hangin with Friends versus Players Anonymous. Don't let the tri-code up there fool you at the top. That's their old logo, washed up one tricks, but they are now Hangin with Friends this season. Super pumped to be bringing you this last final series. Our broadcasters today, myself, I am Foozle Bamboozle. I'm going to be joined here shortly, hopefully, by Karen Franz, who's working out some technical difficulties with the stream. And then Riot Deficio is going to be our stream host for tonight. He's a bit new to streaming, so please let us know in the chat if and most likely when he's not doing his job, and we'll be sure to get right on that. Like I said, he's pretty incompetent when it comes to League of Legends, all things general, whether it be streaming, casting, and playing. So please let us know if he's not doing his job, and we'll try to get on that and have him fix things here shortly. So anyways, like I said, this is going to be Hanging with Friends versus Players Anonymous. Hanging with Friends, dominant season. They only dropped 2 games this entire regular season, both to Spaceman Spiff in kind of a one-off series in which they really didn't play to the top of their potential. So other than that, completely undefeated through playoffs. They won 2-0 over Spaceman Spiff, took their revenge in the semifinals, went to finals with only 2 losses on the year, looking like truly the #1 seed in dominant fashion. On the other hand, Players Anonymous, they started off their season right around the middle of the pack and only got hotter as the season went on. They ended up upsetting the 2nd seed, Team Tempest, in the semifinals, going on to they won 2-1 in that series. It was a nail-biter. They've shown the grit and the determination all season long. They've shown that they're a finals contender. I'm really excited to break down this series. So let's jump into the action here. You've got on your screen right now the draft for Game 1 of this series. And, spoiler alert, the series happened 2 weeks ago. Not going to reveal during the entire course of this who won or who lost. We're just going to cast through it as if it were happening live. So, draft of Game 1, Players Anonymous versus Washed Up One Tricks. Like I said, Washed Up One Tricks as the 1 seed. They'll take the blue side for their Game 1 choice. Players Anonymous, they take as 3 seed. They're stuck with the red side here. And in playoff format, each team alternates what side selection they want. So it doesn't just alternate sides by default. Player Anonymous will actually get to choose in Game 2 what side they're going to take. So Washed Up One Tricks, they take the first pick Yuumi for Bixby Cutie, as you see there on the screen. Been a staple pick in the bot lane for them, for their support. It's been nerfed and buffed and re-nerfed. There's been so many changes, balance edits to this champion, and yet it's still been a staple pick. The Hanging with Friends have been able to utilize it very well in the bot lane. Protecting a strong carry like Rixie has always been their goal throughout the years, and so Yuumi is a pick that does just that. So they're not afraid to go ahead and blind pick the Yuumi, not fearing any counters from Player Anonymous. Over to the other side of the draft, it's the Ezreal, a bit more of a safe lane there from Dirty Band-Aids. Volibear is taken. That's going to be the jungler for Budwolf, so really strong pick. And at the time, Volibear had not received some fine-tuned nerfs that he just got, so he's S+ tier. Maybe better top laner than the jungle, but still a really good pick nonetheless. Over to the blue side, Hanging with Friends selected the Gnar and the Vi there. The Gnar goes to Tuba, a pick that he's utilized for a while now, something he's always been willing to blind into pretty much any matchup. And Players Anonymous top laner, Squirrel Sensei, plays anything from bruisers to tanks, so a safe blind pick was really essential for them in this draft. They take the Gnar to start us off. Vi is going to be the jungle pick for Mayor Huevos. He's shown to have a really strong champion pool. I'm joined by Karen Franz's associate, TTU Phoenix, who will be helping me cast this series. Welcome.
Hey everyone, I'm going to be filling in as play-by-post caster in the stream. I'm just going to need to get a few minutes to get set up, as I am kind of a last-minute substitution.
Cool. Well, let me know when you need to collaborate on anything in advance. If not, I'll just continue to go through the draft as we kind of unpack this together. So blue side, Hanging with Friends has selected the Gnar and the Vi. So good. The Vi is the answer to the Volibear in the jungle. They don't necessarily know at this time that whether the Volibear is going top or jungle, but as you guys can see how the draft has unfolded, it is the Poppy likely to be in the top lane. So back over to red side, it is Player Anonymous selecting the final pick of the first round. It is the Lulu. as you can see the draft, that's going to go support for Dr. Dad. He likes to play those Enchanter supports. His champion pool is actually pretty diverse, but he's more favored those Enchanter supports, more a safe support, especially when you're running something like the Ezreal. The tanky engage supports often don't synergize well with a safe pick like the Ezreal. They see the Yuumi and they pick a safe lane that farms well and is able to transition into team fights in the mid game fairly easily. So they've got an Ezreal, Volibear, Lulu against the Yuumi, Gnar, Vi. Then in the second round of bans, Gelati loses his Galio and his Orianna, and Caged Reaper loses the Ziggs and the Diana. So Caged Reaper, interesting player. Doesn't have a unique play style in that he likes to play some control mages, some supportive mages, and also has a couple of assassins in the pool. So his pool is pretty diverse. So you'll often see teams trying to ban one set of champions against him, like ban both of his, or 2 or 3 of his assassins, and hope to get him on control mages. It's a different style that you have to go up against Cage Reaper because his champion style is so diverse. So washed up one tricks. Oh, I'm sorry, Players Anonymous will take. And I might say washed up one tricks when I see this draft. They enter their old tri-code in there. They're actually hanging with friends right now. Players Anonymous, they select the Poppy for the top lane. A decent pick into the Gnar. Obviously going to get bullied early. Probably go down a little bit of a CS lead. But they pick it. Obviously has decent interactions into the Gnar and the Vi. The W, Steadfast Presence, is able to block both the Gnar's jump and the Vi's charge. So Poppy, good tank pick there in the top lane for them, and decent answer to the Gnar. Build those Ninja Tabbies, build that Bramble Vest is probably what he's thinking, and he'll be able to survive that lane just fine. Hanging with Friends answer with the Swain and the Corki. Now, unfortunately, they weren't able to really bamboozle Players Anonymous with this Swain pick. Rixie is going to be taking that down in the bot lane. Interesting to see how he performs on a mage. Not usually his style. He likes the hyper carries, so I'm really excited to see how he plays on the Swain. Gelati takes the Corki in the mid lane. Classic for him. One of his, I'd say, top 5 champions of all time ever since he's played competitive League of Legends here in a league similar to ours. So, and then finally, Caged Reaper gets his Fizz on the other side. So Fizz Corki, not necessarily a crazy matchup, favored one side or the other, but if the Corki does misplay, uses the Valkyrie at a bad time, or the Fizz is able to land a Shark in lane, this could snowball early. So, any update on UTTU Phoenix as to where you're at, or we ready to transition in the game?
Currently acquiring the correct client. I somehow had 1013 and not 1014.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I have that one instead of the second and most recent client, but I'm currently downloading it, so it'll just take me a few minutes to get that downloaded and set up with Raffle Player.
Okay. You think it's best if we just go ahead with the game and you try and catch up to my timestamp, or want to just wait a little bit because you'll be just a couple minutes?
I'd say wait a few minutes just because it can be difficult to rejoin, but it's entirely your call, and I can definitely try to catch up on the fly.
Yeah, no big deal for waiting, and I guess we kind of missed talking about some of the first 3 bans. Players Anonymous banned the Rumble, the Nocturne, and the Karthus away from Hanging with Friends, and this is it's been pretty common knowledge over the last several years. I don't think the bans have changed much against the Hangin' with Friends squad. It's almost always the Rumble against Tuba, almost always the Karthus against Gelati. And as you could see, interestingly enough, there on the tri-code there, they picked their last season's team name, Washed Up One Tricks, likely referencing the fact that Tuba was a pretty solid Rumble main, and Gelati played a ton of Karthus back in the day and still does. So both these players really proficient on their one champion. So they gave themselves the nickname Washed Up One Tricks back in Season 2. So now is Hanging with Friends still receive those same bans that they did back a while ago. So it is the Rumble against Tuba and the Karthus against Gelati. Nocturne banned against Mayor of Huevos in the jungle, a pick he's often pulled out and has contested with other Nocturne players for. First three bans for the Hangin' with Friends squad. The Bard against Dr. Dad. That's the Ornn up there against Squirrel Sensei. A really strong tank that Squirrel has utilized pretty well during the course of the season. And the Kog'Maw, interestingly enough, against Dirty Band-Aids. And that's kind of curious because that's actually a pretty strong Rixie pick. Perhaps they were surmising with the first pick Yuumi that Players Anonymous were going to select the Lulu and we're going to inevitably get it in the draft. And so maybe that's why they waited till late to see if the Yuumi was going to be banned right away. If not, they take the Yuumi. They suspect Dr. Dad to grab the Lulu once the Bard is banned, and they don't want to let him have the Lulu Kog'Maw. Although AP Kog'Maw is the most proficient Kog'Maw right now, at least in competitive play, the AD form of Kog'Maw, the hyper carry in the bottom lane, is still always a threat when you look at the Lulu alongside him. So I'm kind of trying to read into the minds of Hanging with Friends and Players Anonymous as they make these bans. And so seems pretty smart of them to ban the Kog'Maw here, as it would have been a really good pair with the Lulu, not having even seen the Lulu pick. So those are the first 3 bans from both sides. As far as the compositions go, nothing that speaks too much to a certain style of play. No big siege comp or no big team fight comp. Hanging with Friends do have a pretty solid team fight with the Gnar. The Swain, Area of Effect ultimates. We'll be looking for the Corki to get involved in the bot lane, maybe try and set up some kills there when the package arrives on his table at 8 minutes. As far as top lane, the individual matchup, what it looks like is going to happen, Gnar's probably going to get ahead a little bit earlier on the Poppy until she's able to complete the Ninja Tabby, the Bramble Vest, possibly get a 10-15 CS lead, and then kind of try and transition that into team fights. Bottom lane, I don't expect a lot of killing to go on here early unless jungle intervention happens. And so I think that's going to be the key around bot lane. Not a lot of kill pressure early. If the Swain does land his E onto any enemy target, the Ezreal does have the Arcane Shift. The Lulu has shields and speed boosts to be able to try and defend themselves. So I suspect this is going to be a bit of a stalemate here in the bot lane, but we'll have to see if jungle intervention shifts that tail and tells otherwise. So over to the mid lane now, we have quite an interesting matchup, and I think a lot of the volatility of this, it seems like Corki's a fairly safe pick. I expect Gelati's going to go with something like either the Doran Shield or maybe the potions, the 3 potions. Corrupting potion, yeah. To kind of try and sustain himself in lane, provided the Cage Reaper tries to get onto him with the Fizz. I expect it to be a bit of a safer lane, but this really can snowball in the Fizz's favor, especially if he gets jungle attention. So, looking at Budwolf, thinking if he's able to get into mid and either do like a level 2 cheese or something before the Corki has access to the Valkyrie. Sometimes Corkis will get greedy and go level Q into E, levels 1 and 2, not take the Valkyrie, and there's the chance for the Fizz to get ahead early. I really like the snowball potential that both the Fizz and the Volibear have to get onto the map and dictate the pace of the mid game. So that's something I'm going to be keeping my eye closely on, is how the mid lane pans out for this Fizz pick, because I think that's really the wild card here. Hanging with Friends with a more relaxed scaling into mid and late game team fight composition. The Swain's not super strong early, neither is the Corki. Corki wants those 2 items, really likes to get that Trinity Force on the rapid fire cannon, then into the Infinity Edge. Every item after those 2 is kind of like a power spike for him, so he doesn't usually like to fight before that Triforce is completed. So it's going to be a bit more of a late game for the Hanging with Friends. So if Players Anonymous can throw a wrench into that with something like the Volibear, the Fizz, maybe a strong gank bot that's able to turn into a couple of kills, or some early dragons, force Hanging with Friends to fight earlier than they're comfortable doing, that's what we could say the game spiraled out of control for Players Anonymous. So how are you looking on your client there, TTU?
I'm currently extracting, excuse me, extracting the client from the site we used to download. So it's in progress. Hopefully, once I have it, I'll be able to just quickly slot into Raffle Player and get set up.
Perfect.
I've actually spoken to a few of the members of PA about their strategy going into this series, and they did say that the Volibear was one of their priorities, particularly because it's a flex pick. And they were prepared to flex it between top and jungle based on what matchups they thought were more advantageous. So in this case, seeing the Gnar come out, they elected to put in the jungle and go with Poppy, who... She's not the best in lane against Gnar, but she's very good at denying Gnar engages in team fights. And so even if you accept that you're going to be behind, which is tended to be Squirrel Sensei's play style, is a little more passive, a little more farm oriented. You know that you can bring a lot of utility to stop the hop crunch from Gnar, which he usually uses to gap close for his ultimate.
Hmm. In your series versus Players Anonymous, how were they able to lower the hammer? It was a close one. What was the key point that turned it in their favor? What pushed them over the edge into having a better series than you guys did on that day?
I think it was a question of they identified faster than we did what the priority picks for the series are. We had a very strong Orianna performance in mid lane in the first game, and so they banned it for the second and third. And they banned Kayn because our jungler was known as a Kayn main in the first game, and they left it unbanned and actually picked it. They first picked it in the second game because they were red side, and they ended up getting it on the second rotation in the third game because I think we prioritized set when we were blue side again.
Hmm.
And their jungler was also a Kayn main and had a really strong performance on it both games. And
Hmm.
so I think what they did is they, better than us, they understood which were the champions that in the series were going to be priority picks, and like which ones needed to be banned, which ones they needed to pick away, and so they made that adaptation faster than we did.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting to note, and that's some of those qualities that you described from Players Anonymous are very similar to qualities that I would attribute to the team that to Hangin with Friends. They actually eliminated the team that I was coaching in the semifinals as well, so just across the bracket from you guys. And I didn't obviously play in that series, and I didn't play for the duration of the season, but I was kind of involved as a coach and helped out with draft and things like that. So one of the strengths with Hanging with Friends is their ability to jump jump quickly on the meta of a series, because we can talk about how there's like an overarching League of Legends meta, and then we can dive a little bit deeper than that and say, okay, well, there's a meta for this league. Well, I think you can go even deeper than that and say, hey, there's a meta for a specific series. Um, and one of the things that they've been so good at adapting to as a team over the course of these last several years, and I mention that a lot because I've played with and against some of these guys I'm hanging with friends for quite a while, and a really strong attribute to their team is their ability to adapt through a series and to change some picks and some bans up, be really intelligent about it throughout the course of that. Also, another thing that really was the nail in the coffin for our series is their ability to make quick, decisive decisions, even when behind. Their ability to capitalize on a mistake, always keep their head in the game, and make sure to jump on any areas of opportunity they might have, no matter whether they're ahead or behind. We had them by a high amount of gold in the first game, had a really strong lead, and they were able to pick one of the smartest fights, take it to us, and end up winning the game off of it and coming back in. So,
And that's been my experience playing with them against them as well. Is they're certainly not lacking on mechanical skill, but I would say their strongest point is their team coordination and macro is so good because of how much experience they have playing with each other that they just play. I know some teams have sort of in league and in other online competition have been discussed in terms of like the perfect play strategy, where it's just they don't
mhm,
make big mistakes that are exploitable, and they're very fast and decisive when it comes to capitalizing on your mistakes. I think this season they showed a really interesting ability to mix up their pick ban strategy and their style of play. Because in previous seasons, they tended to pick Gelati's champion very early. He was a player who's very comfortable with blind picking and allowing himself to potentially be counterpicked. And they tended to put Tuba's pick later in the rotation so as to try to get a more favorable matchup. But as you see in this series, they pick Gelati's champion last, and they pick the Gnar relatively early on.
mhm,
And they've definitely, I think, put more emphasis on carrying through their bottom and mid lanes, bolstered by really strong performance across the season from Mayor of Huevos, and putting a little more emphasis on deciding how on putting more pick priority and more pick control in the hands of those mid and bot lane carries.
yeah. And anybody on this Hanging with Friends roster can carry, and anybody on their roster is willing to step back and play a more supportive role for the good of the composition or for the good of bolstering one carry player there. Jumping over to Player Anonymous, Cage Reaper has gone on and off the fizz throughout the entire course of the season. Are there any specific things that you notice about that pick? What is he usually able to snowball that early? Are there any unique things about his playstyle with the champion that makes him so good at it? Why is he? How is he one of the few people that's able to get play an assassin successfully, consistently, in a high league like this, where mechanical skill isn't necessarily the decider?
So, in our first series against them during the regular season, we banned the Fizz once and left it open once. And we actually beat it when we left it open, but lost the other game.
Okay.
But one of the reasons we chose to ban it was because, as our ADC remarked, like Cage Reaper would just sort of hang out on the fringes of a fight and always look for the ADC with the Shark, with Chum the
Mm-hmm.
Waters.
Yes.
He would always be looking to put pressure on the ADC, and even in situations where there wasn't necessarily kill threat, he was repeatedly forcing summoners, damaging the ADC sufficiently that the ADC couldn't step up to the fight. And so it did a lot to push the ADC out of the fight, and then we were left in at best a 4v4.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, definitely one of those threats with the assassin, and one of the inconsistencies with him is if he's not able to isolate that target, then his team fight ability just becomes a lot less potent, and you kind of wish you'd subbed a control mage in there. And it's those ones who are really smart and able to find the right flanks and be able to make that pick work. So it takes a lot of mechanical skill. Not only that, but a lot of game knowledge to be able to put into play the mechanics of an assassin into a very team fight-oriented league meta that we have going on here. Anything else besides maybe the Fizz surprise you about this draft? Are there any curveballs based on both of these teams? I kind of mentioned the Swain early. That's a pretty big surprise from Rixie. Didn't see him. I just don't think of him as the type of player that would play that Swain. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. Any other surprises to you from this draft based on what both these teams like to do normally?
Um, so having only played against Bud Wolf a few times, aside from his Kane games, I seem to recall him when he was on a sort of engage or tank jungle, him tending to go sort of the full tank setup utility route. So I'm curious to see what his build is on the Volibear and whether or not he goes for the sort of hybrid damage option. I see a lot of like Trinity Force into tank, or like that maybe Titanic Hydra into tank, one offensive item into tank build, or if he's just going to go the full support, full tank engage option with Righteous Glory, maybe Warmogs, or just these straight up tank items.
Mm-hmm. Is the Poppy, as a top laner in your experience, how does the Poppy Gnar matchup go?
I mean, Poppy, she's bad into mages. She's decent into ranged AD. The issue with Poppy versus Gnar, I'm curious to see what Keystone Swirl Sensei takes. Poppy's one of the tanks that I think can go grasp into ranged matchups using the Buckler Throw to proc it, but I usually go Aftershock. The issue with Gnar is he's just got a kit that's really well suited to fighting tanks. He is extremely good at kiting them and chasing them to run them down or to deny them the chance to get on him, particularly if he holds the hop until after Poppy's W expires. It's very
Mm-hmm.
easy for him to escape if he doesn't give her a good stun.
Yeah.
And uh, he has a lot of physical damage, and he builds Black Cleaver, which shreds your armor, and so you need to build armor. But he has percent max HP magic damage, so that's going to work on you even if you're building the Sunfire. It's just generally a tough matchup for most tanks to deal with an R. So I would assume that Tuba is probably going to have a pretty decent CS lead in this situation just by virtue
Mm-hmm.
of how Gnar is in control of the lane. It's kind of on Gnar to screw up to really give Poppy an opening,
Yeah.
or for there to be jungle pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a good assertion of the top lane, and kind of the way this is going to go. I think we predicted top and mid. Any thoughts on bot lane? I've kind of predicted this to be a little bit more of a farm lane. I don't really see any kill pressure happening outside of the jungle. What do you think are we going to see here in bot lane from the Ezreal Lulu versus a Swain Yumi?
So Swain's a very strong bot laner, but I typically see him either paired with another mage bot, usually one with hard CC like a Zyra or a Lux, because they set up his grab and make his combo
Yes.
really easy. or as a support to an ADC with a lot of utility themselves. I haven't seen Swain Yumi, but I have seen Yumi with other mages. It's certainly going to make it really hard to kill the Swain, particularly after he gets his ultimate.
Yeah.
But their ability to engage is entirely going to be based on Yumi having ult or Swain landing a grab, and it's very easy for Ezreal to dodge the grab. So they really, I think, only they have to look at the Lulu to have threat,
Yeah.
or have Vi there, probably with her ultimate, to be honest, because
Hmm.
Ezreal Lulu is not a easy lane to gank for almost any jungler, because Ezreal's just going to arcane shift away, you're going to get polymorphed, and then you're like, well, I tried, I'm going to smite cannon and then leave.
Yeah. I the more I think about the Swain Yumi, the more potent it seems to me in my eyes. I kind of didn't picture these two as going together very well at first, but if you think of the final chapter on top of a Swain who's ulting into a fight, and they're able to layer that CC and actually lock somebody down for the Swain, once if the E is used and does miss from the Swain, or after it's been used, the grab, then he doesn't have a lot of CC to be able to stay with his targets. You can take the phase rush, you can take whatever that summoner is that after you, or whatever that
Nimbus Cloak.
mastery, yes, Nimbus Cloak, to try and bolster that utility, that move speed. But with the Yumi final chapter on top of that, as well as the Prowling Projectile, you actually have that utility to be able to catch up and get off a big 5-stack ultimate with the Swain. So the more I think about it, the more potent it actually is. Now, as far as the target selection for that bot lane, I think you're absolutely right. I think it does need to be the Lulu, because not only does Ezreal have the jump with the Arcane Shift, but also if he's able to if he does get caught there, the Lulu has the tools to be able to peel the Ezreal away. So I think it does have to be the Lulu for them. And if they're able to get some kind of level 6 all in with the Swain ultimate on top of the Yumi ultimate, then we actually could see a kill in the 2v2. Now I don't know that I think Dr. Dad's an experienced enough player to realize that this is the threat that they face, the threat that Player Anonymous bot lanes face. So I think he's going to be able to step aside and be wary of that all in from Hanging with Friends. So we'll have to see how this 2v2 plays out. I think we've kind of gone through all the lanes now, and as your client is hopefully fairly close to finishing, do you have any predictions for this game specifically and this series overall? Who do you think is going to be able to take this championship?
Hmm. See, it's hard to bet against washed up one tricks. Like, it's really hard
Yeah.
to bet against them. But I think in this, I'm going to be looking at the Volibear in this game. I believe that how much Budwolf can do in this game with the Volibear and how much he can turn the lanes. Because, like, he's got a farm lane bot, a kind of farm lane top, but he can turn those with good jungle pressure
Mm-hmm.
and getting ahead in the mid lane, because Corki is not generally seen as a very strong laner, particularly given that players tend to be going tier and to mana immune on him now. He won't have like an early Hex Drinker, and won't have very much damage early. I think he could really win these lanes for his team if he's got the right pathing and good gank setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this game specifically, it is really hard to predict, like you said, because there are a couple of win conditions that need to happen in order for each team to win. One, so for Hanging with Friends, their win condition, I feel like it lies in the mid lane. If Corky's able to get to his 2 items by the time Fizz gets to his 2, or relatively shortly thereafter, and put himself in a really good carry spot, I think it has to do with the lanes hitting those items, which I think top lane's going to do just fine. I think bot lane won't have an issue with that either. But I think it comes down to whether or not Budwolf's going to be able to get involved and disrupt one of these lanes. Because I do think Players Anonymous have a more snowbally um, team composition than Hanging with Friends. So if you see this Fizz get ahead, get out early, be able to impact the map, then we're going to see some concern for Hanging with Friends. If Corky's not able to hit that 2 item power spike quickly enough, then they're in trouble. So I think Player Anonymous do have the tools to disrupt washed up one tricks, but I think we're looking at a washed up one tricks first game win. I think they're able to hold the lanes well enough. I think they're going to be smart enough to know what fights to take, what objectives to not fight around, how to protect their carries, and I do think they're going to be able to hit those items and take the game one win. So as far as the series goes in general, feel like my prediction, it wants to be a 2-0 for Hangin with Friends, just because of how the regular season match went. But everything is telling me that everything that I've seen from Players Anonymous is telling me that they have the tools to upset and at least take a game, maybe this series. So it's hard, and thus kind of I have to settle in the middle and predict a Hangin with Friends 2-1. I know it's kind of seems like a cop out to pick a really close series when you can't decide who it is, but I do think, and maybe even it's this game that Players Anonymous take the first game off of Hangin with Friends and then go on to win the series. So you could literally see anything happening this series. So for me, I think I'm going to settle with a Hangin with Friends 2-0 win. I think they're going to be able to stifle Players Anonymous. They're going to know what fights to take, what fights to back away from, know what compositions to pick, make the right adjustments during draft, and take the series here. So what about you? What are your predictions for the series?
I think it's a 3-game series. I don't know if this is the one that they take, but I think I think I can see this going to 3 games. But I think I see Players Anonymous at least taking 1 game. I think it's hard to bet against Washed Up One Tricks, but I'm going to call it a 2-1 in favor of Washed Up One Tricks.
Okay. So we're both on the Washed Up One Tricks, Hangin with Friends, Don't Ban Rumble, whatever team that they actually want to brand themselves in Season 4. We'll see if they change their team name up again, but looks like we're both betting on them as this series begins to unfold. And what are we looking at?
So unfortunately, I grabbed the wrong patch. So I'm working on getting the right patch, but it is going to take time. So I don't want to ruin your voice waiting. So we could try the Discord stream, and I'll cast from there. Quality's not amazing, but it's manageable.
Okay, let's see if I can set that up here. Let me pull up my game here. Okay, so we got the wrong logos here. Let's pull those off here real quick. Yeah, Ride to Fish is just letting us down here from the streamer side. Doesn't know how to use this. Okay, let me know when you're able to jump in and follow here, TTU, and we'll get things started.
All right, I'm ready to go. I believe. Hold on. All right, there we go. I can see what you see.
Okay, cool. Let's jump in here. Apparently there's a slight echo on your end, I think.
I'm not certain why, because I don't have League Voice open.
Okay, yeah, neither do I. I mean, due to the nature of this stream, neither of us have our League clients actually open probably. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. Okay, so we have what looks like an invade coming in here from Hangin with Friends, or at least possibly a stack. I think it is a stack.
Yeah, there's no hard CC on their team unless Rixie wants to take Never Move at level 1, so I wouldn't really think of this as an invade team. Vi could take Vault Breaker, but she doesn't really want to start Q. Usually want to start E or W for the clear.
So it looks like they're going to back out of here in just a couple minutes, get Tuba up to the top lane, and start the lanes pretty evenly. Players Anonymous did get that ward down there. That was from Budwolf. Dropped the ward in on the blue buff so they can see, confirm whether or not Mayor of Huevos will be starting there or not. Sold that trinket, picked up the sweeper for himself. Really efficient little trade there that's been a tactic junglers have used for at least a year now. So like to see our players doing that. Sweeper's almost up now, and camps are about to hit the rift.
Yep, so we do see a red side start for both of them. Pretty standard, as these are physical damage junglers. Camps on the red side of the jungle take more damage, physical damage, they have negative armor. Camps on the blue side have negative magic resistance, take more magic damage. So a lot of physical junglers, particularly because they tend to be auto attack based, will usually want to start on red side.
Corky with the cold start there in the mid lane. So neither the Dorn Shield nor the Corrupting Potion that we predicted came to be, as Rixie takes a bit of harass there.
Yeah, they've got taking a lot of damage from the Lulu picks. It's very easy for Lulu to get easy poke with the Glitter Lance, I believe the term is. Though I do find it interesting because Dr. Dad didn't take the Spell Thief's Edge that Bixby did. He took Relic Shield, so he's actually not getting gold from poking, he's just getting lane pressure. The Yuumi is actually wanting to poke in order to try to get extra gold and to proc her passive, bop and block to restore mana. We go for a never move at level 2, but Ezreal avoids it, so no real trade from Swain there.
Budwolf about to move into the jungle, look for potentially the Scuttle Crab, or at least maybe to get a deep ward in the red side jungle. They do know the Vi started the red, so it's either a recall or a back into the red side. They might meet here, but it is Budwolf looking for mid. Gelati might be in trouble here.
Gelati does have Valkyrie. He's already used it. The Thundering Smash is going to come down. A lot of damage. The Ignite comes from Caged Reaper, and that is first blood. The movement speed on Volibear Thundering Smash, it just lasts really long time, like 5 seconds. He's going to go in again, bring down the Stormbringer. That's a fat shield, fat damage.
Ooh, nice
he
flash.
Flashes into the Vault Breaker, waiting on the Maul to come up, and there's the dash, the Urchin Strike from Cage Reaper. That is 2 kills for this Fizz. That's the point where in all chat you're like, why didn't I take a Dark Seal?
Yeah.
But he's already got a bounty at 3.5 minutes, so this Fizz is setting pretty. Probably going to start with the Proto Belt, would be my assumption. So he's probably got almost enough gold for that Hextech Revolver already. Good damage from the Essence shift into Arcane shift for the Ezreal. He's going for Bixby. Pokes very low, but he will be able to walk out. The cooldowns are down for Dirty Band-Aid, so no ability to follow that up.
Yeah.
So it's 3 quick kills across the map for Players Anonymous.
Interestingly enough, with Gelati, who had access to the Valkyrie, going back to that very first kill, sometimes it may have been better for him in certain circumstances to try and kite up to the top side of the map rather than back towards his turret, but unfortunately his jungler was on the bottom side of the map. We have a dive here.
Oh, he's a little too deep there. He does get the kill. He hasn't pulled tower aggro, but Arcane Shift is on cooldown, and Ezreal will trade his life for it. Let me see, did he didn't have a bounty, so that was probably actually a pretty... it's never ideal when your ADC dies, but he gets a kill, and that's still a pretty good trade because Rixie does not get a kill.
Yeah, and I think even more importantly, the wave was actually crashed underneath the turret here as top laners are just dueling, but I think Tuba will back off here and collect this farm. But yeah, no wave under the turret there for Rixie to be able to... Or the huge wave, sorry, under there for Rixie that he needed to collect.
There's
missing out on that.
They're going for the Wolf Invade on the side of Budwolf. He's going to be able to walk out, I think. All right, I have restored my client. I'm now live. I'm all set. All right, here we go.
Awesome.
Okay, so Budwolf is going to go and take his Raptors. Just gets the... I think he got all 3 of the wolves from Vi.
Yeah. really helpful in that case when Budwolf is moving in the jungle, or when any jungler is moving in, to have that solo lane priority. Unfortunately, then we saw Squirrel Sensei having that wave pushed in that he and Tuba engaged around a little bit earlier. The Fizz having pushed the Corki in there. Both were able to roam a little bit early, and you saw that both of them moving away from their mid lane and their top lane to get to them quickly. So it's always great when you're invading as a jungle to have mid and top priority there, and you kind of have to orchestrate it around that, otherwise you'll get yourself in a lot of trouble. So well coordinated by the top 3 mid jungle and top from Players Anonymous to be able to take that invade.
I'm looking at the gold graphs, and right now there's a decent gold, about almost a little under 2K for Players Anonymous, mostly in mid and bot. A small in lead in jungle, but there is a deficit in top, as kind of expected. They're coming out on the dragon. Budwolf's in the area, and Volibear is a jungler who's good at taking dragon early. He does have his Bambi Cinder, which will help him clear it. He's got his mid and support here. This should be a free objective for them.
Yeah, it looks like Gelati not looking to move over. Vi going to be going to clear her top side. They just realized they're not as strong at the moment, so there's no real sense in wasting. There's no real sense in leaving and trying to take a fight in which you potentially may go down more kills. Just giving that dragon over. It's not always the end of the world to give over an early drag. You can even give over 2 if you're looking to get priority to top to trade for the Rift Herald, or even if it's simple as you just needing farm here in the bot lane. Never know.
I don't think of an air drag as like the most devastating early drag to give away. It is pretty potent for the Volibear ultimate because Stormbringer does have a relatively long cooldown, but like it doesn't offer the kill threat or just the sustain that, say, an Ocean Drag or a First Infernal would give. So that's a, alright, give it up call, and you walk away.
Marifuevo's hovering around top lane, looking for something, but Squirrel Sensei with the pink up there, able to deflect. Ooh, never moved this lane there. Full stock to that end, but...
Yeah, the Essence Pulse? Oh, wow, a lot of damage from the True Shot Barrage. Ezreal is pretty low here, doesn't have a lot of mana, so I don't think they're going to be able to go for a kill. Yuumi has enough mana for at least one more heal, but... And Rixie's heal is about to be back up, so Players Anonymous not going to try to dive it.
Yeah, you see Budwolf pathing through into the bottom side jungle. I wonder if he was going to be posturing for a dive. The bottom lane may have called him off on that one. Yeah, you see the ping there, kind of getting him to back out of there. Make sure that he doesn't go in by himself when they're trying to time him back. Gelati's having some trouble in this lane, and understandably so, with the Fizz already nearly to that Proto Belt. Any kind of trade is going to be a big one for the Fizz, and his engage range, now that he has access to Chum the Waters and is already level 8, is actually quite significant. So Gelati have to, having to play this lane very tenderfootedly, going with the tier, with the Cole. He has a 40-minute game on his hands, and Chum the Waters lands. Here we go.
Yep, he's already valked away, and so Cage Reaper decides not to follow. He would have had to spend quite a bit of time under tower. The Fizz is up for Gelati, so he just backs out. Notably, he has blue buff, and Gelati doesn't, so even with tier, Gelati doesn't have the mana to keep wave clearing. There's a surprise kill in top. Gnar is down, so my assumption is that he just got chunked down, and then probably had pressed the attack proc on him. Tuba jumped in, got the Gnar into the wall, and picked up a kill. Budwolf's looking for an answering kill. He's already used Thundering Smash, so he is going to have to walk away. The TP does come out of Gelati. He's got the package. He's pathing down toward mid. You get a lot of moves out of the package, but you don't hold it for very long. He might be being pinched here, but Squirrel Sensei is going to let it go. They are going to go for the Rift Herald here. Tuba is walking back to lane. He's elected not to teleport. So I'm not sure there's with no eyes on it. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be able to contest this Rift Herald.
So yeah, speaking of eyes, the Vi walked over that ward you see just below him in that first brush in the bottom lane. So I think knowing that Mayor Pueblos was down there looking for a lane gank, Players Anonymous just jumped right on the Rift Herald, knowing that they would have potentially 3 players to that play. with only the 2 from Hangin with friends. So good call, and an unfortunate award to have the bye walkover. Tuba in trouble, maybe. Poppy slams him into the wall. Volibear with the ultimate comes in, disables the turret, and is able to get out of there cleanly. So well played there, and just one more auto attack would have made that a 1v1. So nice ult by Budwolf, keeping himself alive, and good times just keep rolling here for Players Anonymous.
Yeah, they're going to pick up 2. Poppy doesn't have her... Oh, the flash misses. Should be a charge. There's the heroic charge from Poppy. Hammer shot comes down. Mayor of Huevos is going to trade back with Budwolf, but he's going to then fall to the Poppy. And I don't know if that's really worth. Like, you do get a kill, but it's not a shutdown. And to be honest, given that the Poppy had already died, had the assist, but between the plate gold, the kill, the assist, Squirrel Sensei is now only 100 gold behind Tuba. And so what was a pretty decent lead for the top lane of Washed Up One Tricks is now pretty much gone. Poppy's sitting on 1,200 gold. Will be able to back and get, my guess would be most of Sunfire Cape.
Yeah.
But with the top tower so low, only 1 plate remaining, it's going to be really easy for them to go and pick that up.
One of the unfortunate side effects about this as well is that how often Gelati's having to move from mid, and meanwhile in a ranged v melee matchup, when you have kind of an AD carry style champion farming up in the mid lane, that's his job. He's actually losing out of farm to the Fizz due to the fact that he's having to try and he's feeling very pressured to rotate to these side fights, and so had to move a couple times there within the last few minutes. And so now the Fizz is up.
Right, Nevermove's going to land on Budwolf, but they don't want to follow that up. Rixie and Bixby are both low on mana, and the final chapter is on cooldown. I'm guessing that's where the damage on Dirty Band-Aids came out. They're going to be starting up the Infernal here.
Yeah. That was the whole goal, is to get that prio as Fizz runs into Vi. We could see it all in here.
Otherwise, it's going to land. She's got to dash quicker. It's going to be interrupted. Proto Belt, I think the flash is off the mark. And the dubstep ignite comes down from Cage Reaper for the kill. And they claim the Infernal.
So I don't know if that flash actually may have blocked Mayor of Huevos' Vault Breaker. I wasn't paying attention to the interaction there. I was watching the Dragon, but that may have been what the flash was for. At least maybe trying to predict it. Don't know if we landed it or not. Some keen eyes in the chat can inform us on if Cage Reaper made a big brain outplay there. But yes, Infernal picked up here for Players Anonymous, and now this third dragon becomes very important. It is the Ocean, so the Ocean Soul is we'll see Oceans from here on out until the Elder, and you know no team comp really is too sad to see an Ocean Dragon. Ooh, Dirty Band-Aids.
The final chapter is going to come out, but really good job. He dodges the Visions of Empire, then Arcane shifts out, doesn't panic, doesn't have to burn his flash or heal, and just gets away to farm another day.
Yeah. Farm is pretty even here in the bot lane. Swain just picks up the Rod of Ages. Trade there. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's just going to become the life for Gelati right now. Didn't take Cage Reaper too much effort or mana, or that's going to become a pretty common all-in. Budwolf here with the tower dive.
Gelati's going to flash out. He's already used Valkyrie. Stormbringer's going to come down. Massive damage, and the Ferocious Maul does claim the kill. He's probably going to get traded back here. He flashes away, but Assault and Battery comes through, and that picks up the kill for Mayor of Huevos. Turret plating has fallen, so Cage Reaper might look for some damage on the tower, but Mayor of Huevos just wave clears that, and they take the 1-for-1.
Budwolf not being afraid to throw himself into the fights here for the sake of his laners. Cage Reaper doesn't have to do much of the work, but he just gets to sit there and farm the mid lane against an empty lane because Budwolf's consistently going for these tower dives, creating plays aside from his lanes. That's some of the power of the Volibear jungle.
And I'm really impressed with... Oh, the exhaust has gone down. Rixie's in his ult. Demonic Ascension. Dirty Band-Aids is going to go down to the Demon Flare Nova. Just the Ignite, the exhaust from Yumi just completely shuts down any ability to fight back. And he is going to be picked off because they know that Lulu's in mid, helping out Cage Reaper.
Bit greedy for Dirty Band-Aids to be up that far in a 1v2. Ezreal usually able to handle that, but got a little bit... Got a little bit excited with the poke there and got punished.
Yeah, probably thought he was invincible with the Arcane Shift, but he's not, and they decide to prove that fact. Huevos is down here. They're pushing the wave in. They might be looking for a dive. Dr. Dad doesn't really have any options to stop it, but trying to dive a Lulu is a bad idea. He needs wild growth. He's holding it. Ooh, very good patience from Dr. Dad to hold that ultimate. I would have probably burn that on myself. But now he has it for his ADC.
Budwolf coming around from the back. Here's the Volibear. No access to the ultimate yet, but let's see if he's able to get onto Rixie.
He's going to call the stun. He's actually going to get knocked up. Thundering Smash has timed out, but Huevos is going to go down to the damage from Dirty Band-Aids. Tuba's here. He's trying to hop in. He's about to go Mega. Looking for the Gnar ult, but he goes down before he can use it. Poppy's TPing in. She's trying to body block on Gelati, stop some of that damage. Rixie's going to be forced back. It's a great... Oh, the grab lands on Dirty Band-Aids. He's got to get out of here. Oh, a good Keeper's Verdict is going to hold up Rixie and allow Dirty Band-Aids to escape. Cage Reaper has the Shark available. Is he going to throw it over the wall?
This is so far
for the dive here.
This is so far 2 for 1 in favor. Players Anonymous.
There comes the Shark. The tower's turned off. They're going in. The Urchin Strike, easy pickoff. Yumi's now left with no one to go to. She has no mana. Cage Reaper's going to pick that up pretty easily and just Urchin Strike his way out of there. Budwolf is going to fall in return. He tanks a lot of people, even with the tower turned off. But he gets his team multiple kills.
So the first wave of that fight was a 2 for 1 in favor of Players Anonymous. They did take down Tuba and Mayor of Huevos and only lost Dr. Dad. Second round of that was also in favor of Players Anonymous. It was a 3 for 2. So overall, in both those skirmishes combined, a 5 for 3 in favor of Players Anonymous. Crucially, Volibear getting huge nearly at that Trinity Force. Damage, second item, so he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then the Fizz now at 5-0. Not where you want those kills if you're on rooting for Hangin with Friends here.
Yeah, and I'll sometimes see Fizzes go for, like often a Zanya second or something a little defensive utility-esque just because it makes him so much slipperier. But Cage Reaper's elected to go for the Lich Bane for just maximum damage here. Because he's 5-0, he's hard to lock down. Oh, they're going to run it on Rixie. He's polymorphed, he's going into Demonic Ascension, but with the anti-heal from the Executioner's Calling, it is very easy for Dirty Band-Aids to just chunk him down and take him out, especially with the press attack damage going through.
Ooh.
Cage Reaper is going to fall to an Ignite. I believe, yes, from Bixby. But it's now 2 down, including the jungle. Tuba's about to go Mega, but he bounces twice, doesn't get in position. Budwolf's trying to pick up some fruit. He's trying to have a snack, get some vitamins. Tuba's only got a few seconds left on Mega before it times out. Yeah. So he needs to go in now if he wants to use the ultimate. They're looking to poke. They're looking for the missile barrage. Tuba has timed out. He is now exhausted. He will not be able to pick up to go for an ultimate. The pings are coming out that Volibear does not have Smite. They don't want to risk 50-50ing it. Vi has respawned and is running here as fast as she can, but they have started it. His Smite is only a second or 2 up.
Yeah. Hanging with Friends are not giving this up. They do not want that Ocean Dragon going over to the other side. It's now a 4 versus 3 here.
About to be a 5 versus 4. Fizz is on his way. He and Vi both having respawned, but Poppy's just pushing the top lane. Dr. Dad and Budwolf trying to disengage. They do not have the ability to blink over the wall.
Yeah.
Cage Reaper here. The Shark's available. He's just looking for it. Budwolf thinks about going in, but thinks better of it. They're going to be starting this with Cage Reaper. That's a good Shark on Gelati. Cage Reaper's in the middle of the enemy team. He's going to have to playful Trickster out. Double root. That's huge. Huge dunk from the Volibear. They're all so low. Mayor of Huevos is going to go down. Cage Reaper is going to die to the Dragon here if he's not careful. Dirty Band-Aids forced Arcane Chip to flash over the wall. Dr. Dad running from Rixie. Tuba is Mega again. A tower does fall in the top lane. Dirty Band-Aids goes down. So it's now a 4 for 2. Cage Reaper's too low. They're going to have to give this up. They're still looking at it, but oh, the never move into the Phosphor Bomb is going to pick them up. Prowling Projectile is going to slow Dr. Dad, but he's got Nullifying Orb. He's going to walk out.
Yeah. Players Anonymous certainly with the tools to win that fight, but the communication wasn't quite there. Budwolf and the rest of his crew sat on the Dragon, taking that down. Will Cage Reaper win in by himself in a 1 versus 4 or 5 scenario? And if they had had the Fizz utilizing his flank ability in a full-on team fight, I think they definitely had what it takes to win that fight. But with him going in by himself and the rest of the team doing Dragon, Hanging with Friends were much more on the same page there, able to come back and take a fight when they were down a significant amount of gold. So kind of bring the game back a little bit.
Squirrel Sensei was in top lane the entire time. He did get a tower. He got the tier 2 in top lane. But with the build he's got, I'd like to see him be with the team a little bit more. Poppy is pretty good at pushing towers because her buckler throw works on towers. It gives her good damage, but he doesn't have a sheen, so he's not really equipped for split pushing, while the Gnar is. So I'd like to see him either be countering the Gnar's push or grouping with his team to use his tankiness to set up.
I think
Pack is available. Budwolf's looking for the tower. The wave's mostly cleared.
Wow.
A lot of poke damage comes out onto Dirty Band-Aids, but the double shields do keep him safe. He's running out of time. That's a lot of damage from an Ezreal Q, but I don't think he has very much time on the package available. Now or never. Oh, they get the stun. He's going to have to package out here. Huge W block from Steadfast Presence. Stormbringer in. The damage is coming through from Mayor of Huevos. Budwolf's going to go down, but Tuba goes down on the backside. He flashed, I think, to try to dive. Fizz is looking for the... He doesn't have the Shark. He used it on Tuba. Urchin Strike in. He's looking for the damage. Ignite.
Oh, man.
That's a big dunk from Playful Trickster. Lots of damage. Gelati is going to trade it back. He's now 6-3 on a Rampage, but with the low health and resources, I don't know if Washed Up One Tricks are going to be able to defend this tower.
Yeah, I don't think so, especially with Mayor of Huevos going into the Raptors there. It is just the Gelati there. Dirty Band-Aids backs out. I think the tower is going to survive at least for now. The next wave is still a ways away from getting there.
Notably, Dirty Band-Aids did go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is a safer option than the Triforce. So he's going to have less damage, but it's going to be a lot more resistance and utility. So when he took that tower shot, it really didn't hurt him that much, because many ADCs do not have the luxury of building 65 armor.
Oh,
A lot of damage on the Mayor of Huevos. He's really low. True Shot Barrage. Oh, just dodges it. Really good short vault breaker.
Yeah. So a lot to unpack there, and really the turret going down in the end was the big win there for Players Anonymous. The fight was actually fairly even. Cage Reaper did go in at the end. Wasn't there at the beginning of the first fight. Did kind of go in and die. Didn't have access to the Shark. Not sure where he used that, if he tried to snipe earlier on in the fight. But I think Players Anonymous extended a little bit more than they had to. But in the end, did get away with the turret. So they take their third turret of the game, only one over there with Hanging with Friends. And now they're going to try and set
Tuba's
up...
flash was down in that fight. I think Tuba tried to flank through the jungle to get to the back line, and I think Cage Reaper used the Shark on him.
Okay. Ocean Dragon coming up at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. This would be Soul if it were not for Hanging with Friends able to take that dragon there. Tuba?
Pings are coming out on Tuba. Shark's going to hit. He is going to get the bounce. Stun's going to come through from Thunder and Smash. Stormbringer, dunk, there we go.
Yeah, that's the power of the Triforce Volley. Oh my goodness, that's a powerful Mystic Shot on Gelati. But yeah, that's the power of the Triforce Volibear combined with some Fizz damage. So yeah, despite the Wits End build and a bit of a tanky Black Cleaver, Tuba didn't stand a chance there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a bad sign for Washed Up One Tricks, because the typical Gnar teamfight build is Cleaver into Frozen Mallet for the utility and mass amount of health it gives him. But with the Wits End, which is all like attack speed and sustain and damage, that's really a split push build. Like, he's saying, I want to commit to sitting in a side lane and auto-attacking this Poppy to death. And the fact that he's getting killed in the side lanes is a bad sign for a Gnar who is not as tanky as he could be and needs to be one of the frontliners, because Swain's a pseudo frontliner. He has a lot of health, but as we've seen, if his healing gets cut, he's very vulnerable to being burned down. And a Vi with Warrior and Trinity Force is not a tank.
Yeah. Dragon coming up here in about 10 seconds. Lane priority is in favor of Players Anonymous, so they're able to move into the river a little bit more easily, secure that vision. So I'd like to have seen Hanging with Friends clear those waves a little bit earlier, try and get in there. But it's Players Anonymous, they're on the Dragon, starting it off. They have everybody there. Tuba does have the TP, so if Hanging with Friends want to pull the trigger here, that's what they're going to be waiting for.
Tuba has, I think, just gone mini. He is still exhausted. He won't be able to go mega. The Keeper's Verdict is going to come out. Misses everyone. The Chum of the Waters, though, obliterates Mayor of Huevos. They're looking for the chase, but I don't think they have any CC left. And that is a quick dragon and a kill for Players Anonymous.
Consolation prize. Tuba does pick up the kill on the turret there in the top lane. As Kitchen may look. Don't think nothing's gonna happen there. But now Players Anonymous are going to answer with their own turret here in the bot lane. Not much there to stop them. Yeah, Mayor of Puebla's really close on that steal. Doesn't get off the smite there just in time. Does go over to actually Dirty Band-Aids who picks that one up. So a really close really close smite fight there. Went over to the ADC. So that's the Ocean Dragon for Players Anonymous, and now they are on Soul Point.
Yeah, so this puts a timer on Washed Up One Tricks. They have to be ready to fight for the next one. Try to get whatever gold and itemization they can. Cage Reaper's going to Urchin Strike in. He's going to be forced to Playful Trickster back out. As the tower does go down, it was very low, and with the combined damage of Gelati and Tuba, that's a pretty easy pickup.
Yeah, he's just trying to use his fancy feet to possibly delay them or keep them off of there. Never moved plants onto the Lulu, but Rixie.
Volibear's coming in with the Thundering Smash. He's going to get the stun. A lot of damage on a Tuba. He goes in, flashes, but he only gets Budwolf. That's a tank. He's going to get burned down. Stormbringer over the top. Rixie's taking a lot of damage. The healing is being reduced. Mayor Wave is going to flash out. He's going to smite Cage Reaper for the kill, but now he's got to deal with the tanky Poppy. That's a Thornmail Sunfire. He's not in any danger. And the Yuumi is going to be left.
Oh, baby!
And they are going to give the pentakill to Dirty Band-Aids.
Ezreal was the hero all throughout that fight. That flash at the very beginning to avoid the flash Gnar ulti. That had to be a prediction. The timing was so close on that one. Not only that, but the follow-up damage onto the Gnar at the end of that. No armor there on Tuba's Gnar. So the Ezreal's just going to shred through on the back line. Motored his way through the fight like a freight train. Ends up picking the pentakill in the grand finals for Players Anonymous in Game 1.
And while he gets pretty low, if you look at his itemization, he's about to finish Death's Dance, 100%. Yeah, oh, he's sitting on 3,300 gold. It is just so hard to kill an Ezreal with these items, because he's probably going to build Bork after this for even more health. But this is an ADC with 159 armor. He takes 61% reduced magic. He has triple Tuba's armor. Almost triple the armor of the tank of Washed Up One Tricks.
Yeah, just Ezreal things.
Yeah, and he's going to finish the Mortal Reminder as well, to get some armor pen as well. So the little bits of armor that are coming through for Wash Up One Tricks, like the Aegis of the Legion on Vi, he's already got the pen to cut through them. They're looking to pressure down the mid lane, I think, with this Baron buff.
Mayor of Huevos possibly on the wrong side here. Is able to slide away to safety, but... Oh, here we go.
Volibear's going in. Big stun. Final chapter's going to come out as Corky Valkyrie's away. All the CC onto Budwolf, and he's going to Stormbringer out. There's a TP coming in. Dirty Band-Aids is going godlike as he picks up Vi. And Squirrel Sensei is just going to dissuade any damage. Budwolf is going to eat a red buff for his trouble. Give it over to Dirty Band-Aids. Maybe grab some fruit here. Have himself a little healthy snack. Oh, a lot of damage onto Dr. Dad. He's going to be forced to flash out. Budwolf is going to go in, try to body block, but he is now quite low.
Yeah. Hanging with Friends thought they could burst down the Volibear, and sometimes that's a good idea to turn on the tank and just throw everything on him just so you can get the kill there and transition into the rest of the fight. But Budwolf just so tanky with that ultimate going down. Not enough damage for Hanging with Friends, and Dirty Band-Aids picks up a kill with the red buff burn there in the end. Able to pressure in 2 lanes at once. Cage Reaper potentially threatening that inner turret there. Double nip.
He's actually going to back. Good route. Dirty Band is going to blink away. A little bit of damage on the Squirrel Sensei, but he's building in a magic resist now, so he's not super threatened by Rixie.
Oh, they get everyone away just in time. And likely the call there was to back because of that dragon spawn. Soul up in 45 seconds. Want to make sure they don't overextend. They're able to back in time, get out on the map with the gold that they had just earned, and set up for the soul point.
And this is actually very unfortunate timing for Tuba. He's currently fully enraged. He's in Mega Gnar form. He's going to time out about 2 seconds, but he will then be exhausted. Budwolf looking for an engage here. He's taking a lot of damage. Big final chapter in the choke. Budwolf is going to go down. They're looking for Squirrel Sensei. They're going into the back line, but Dirty Bandits goes down after the Assault and Battery. Good stopwatch from Cage Reaper. Dodges the Demon Flare Nova. Rixie goes down to the Urchin Strike. Cage Reaper's just in the back line. He's killing everyone. Tuba's going to go down. Major Tom, the mission is over as Astronaut Gnar falls for the final kill of the ace. They're going to pick up the dragon.
Triple kill for the Ezreal. And just the carries on Players Anonymous are more fed than the ones on Hanging with Friends. Positioned a little bit better in that fight. Just able to put out more damage. That was the fight that Hanging with Friends were looking for. They were able to get the Volibear right off the bat. But as the fight transitioned and started to split, the Ezreal really shone in that fight. Able to use his recently spent gold and take away. the win.
I think if Tuba is still Mega there, and he gets a Gnar off the final chapter, that'd probably be a 3 or 4 man Gnar ult. That could have turned the fight. But he's just timed out. He's in mini form. All he can do is auto attack. They're going to pick up the tower and back. They've got Ocean Soul. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to reset. They're probably sitting on a fair amount of gold. About 1,000 for most of the players on Players Anonymous.
The objectives as they stand, not too soon. The Baron is in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and the Dragon, of course, just taken a little over 5 minutes there. So we'll see if Players Anonymous stall out for that next Baron buff, or if they try to set up and push out lanes. Still do have 1 inner left to take in the bottom lane. But then it's just the inhibitor turrets from there. They don't have a particularly great siege composition, but with Fizz's, the slipperiness of the Fizz pick and the Volibear ults to be able to deny the attacks of the turret, they have a decent dive comp. So we'll see if they actually risk it, or if they're going to wait for that Baron buff.
I think you're right. I think they're going to have to dive, and like the rest of this team doesn't have really great engage outside of like a good Fizz Shark. And not a ton of poke, but I think it's really the Volibear pick that brings it together, because he can force an engage and completely deny Wash Up One Trick's safety of the turret. They're just wave clearing here. Baron's long worn off, so they're just going to try to collect what farm they can for Wash Up One Tricks.
I'd like to see them kind of split up and allocate the farm a little bit better than they're doing right now. There's no objective that they have to group and fight over, so sharing XP in the mid lane with all their carries is not optimal. I'd like to see Tuba in one lane, Gelati in another, Rixie in the third, try and at least split experience and get a little bit stronger that way. It's kind of hard when you're behind. The tendency is normally to group there, but with no objective that Players Anonymous can jump right on, makes more sense to split up and try and get more efficient farm here in the side lane. So
yeah, it's the kind of hand-holding syndrome when your team's pretty behind, in this case about 10k. You want to stick together for safety, but it means that you're not really splitting up the farm well, and you're all fighting over one wave of minions. Gelati does have the package. That can be absolutely teamfight turning. The slow is incredible, the damage is insane, but a lot of damage coming out of the Mayor of Huevos from Dirty Band-Aids. Those Mystic shots hit really hard.
Unfortunately,
he's got the Death Dance.
The package not going to last through the duration of this Baron take, so I think he's going to have to use it here within the next 10 seconds or so. Otherwise, the value from it is going to be minimized. Here's Players Anonymous setting up a trap here. Baron is in 9 seconds.
Yeah, they're challenging Washed Up One Trick. They've got to face check it. Fizz is hanging around. They're all looking for the flank. They're looking to have people try to run in and face check, and then be forced into Fizz ult.
Here we go. This is the start of the fight.
Oh, Gelati's going to get hit. He's going to be taken out by the Urchin Strike and the Ignite. On the other side, Rixie and Bixby are going after the Ezreal. He's going to be dunked, but he's got so much sustain. Mayor of Huevos is going to go down. The damage comes from the Yuumi. Tuba's about to go Mega, but he's forced to flash and crunch out. Even with the ult available, he can't fight this many people. And the healing from Dirty Band-Aids, like, they get the combo on him, but he only loses a little bit of health before the shield from Lulu comes in, his own healing and defenses come in, and they're going to be rewarded with the Baron.
Gelati, the strong carry right now for Hanging with Friends, isolated in that fight by Cage Reaper's Fizz, taken down there, and after that, it was just kind of splitting up for Hanging with Friends and trying to salvage the fight, which they were unfortunately not able to do. They have some good dive, but not a lot of damage to follow it up. 5-man coming in here in the top lane. Spawn timers, everybody's popping up right now, so maybe a 5v5 pretty soon. We might see an inhibit back. Players Anonymous playing this very safely. Might argue they could have tried to end instead of going for the Baron, but they're going to play this methodically and make sure they get this game won.
Yeah, and I can't tell on mine, but the advantage of taking the top inhib is that it's the opposite of Elder Dragon. So if they want to wait for Elder Dragon, which I don't think they need to, it's going to force someone to be on the opposite end of the map to try to answer it. And it'll probably have to be Tuba. It'll have to be Tuba or Gelati, because they're the ones with TP.
It is a good point. 1 minute and 20 seconds till this Elder Dragon, so I don't see any way that Players Anonymous are going to try and do anything crazy before that. They're all posturing around it right now. I'd like to see them move into the bottom side jungle from Hanging with Friends and get that lit up with vision, because this is the big objective. Once you have this Elder, you win the next fight and you win the game right afterwards. So this is making sure you secure this buff is what's going to enable the closeout from Players Anonymous. So they're moving quickly.
Huevos might be isolated here, but he's going to be able to get back. Doesn't check in. They're got a good vision line going out. Danger ping is coming out from washed up one tricks.
Pinging the wave, they want to get that wave pushed in there in the bottom lane to make sure they have an avenue that actually pressures. Oh, Mayor of Huevos.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, no magic resist there other than the Aegis of the Legion, I think that's still called, but just a small amount with that, and is going to go down. Not a great game for Mayor of Huevos. He'll be looking to step it up in the rest of this series.
Yeah, they're gonna go for this go for this Nexus turret, I think. Yeah, inhibitor turret, excuse me. The Elder Drag is coming up, and unfortunately with Mayor of Huevos down, it's gonna be extremely difficult for Washed Up Wonders to contest it. They kind of have to contest it because otherwise the game definitely ends, but they don't have a smite. They don't really have anything that's equipped to steal it outside of maybe Swain Ultimate.
It's tough when you lose your jungler there. Oh, the shark comes back over and Tuba.
Massive damage on the Tuba. The slow's going to keep Squirrel Sensei out. Visions of Empire and the Zoomies are going to get Rixie away, but they're chasing. Good never move.
Yeah, Players Anonymous, they just need to get to this mid lane wave, push it in. They've got Tuba dead for about 40 seconds, so they're going to be fighting a 5v4 with Elder. I'm not sure how Hangin and Friends are going to be able to do this.
I don't think they do. A lot of damage on this tower. This is going to fall quickly. Inhib's going to go down. They're pushing forward. Players Anonymous almost has Chum the Waters available, so I'd expect him to just immediately look for a shark as soon as that comes up.
Design is available. There it is.
There it is. Rixie is going to go into stopwatch. Mayor of Huevos is going to try to apply some CC on the Budwolf. They're forced back into the fountain. The towers are going down. One down. Good never move route. Assault and Battery comes out in the Volibear, but that's a really tanky target. Gelati's already down to Dirty Band-Aids. They're being forced back in fountain again. Laser executes Rixie. Tuba is forced to watch as his Nexus falls, and game one goes to Players Anonymous.
Yeah, insanely high momentum first game here for Players Anonymous. All started with that Fizz double kill in the mid lane. Able to start taking these team fights, just played them a lot better. Played around the Ezreal, who scaled into that late game. Culmination of that, a pentakill there in that mid lane fight. Able to take the Baron, secure all but one dragon, and slowly work their way to a 37-minute win here. So well played to Players Anonymous, and they open up the grand finals with a 1-0 lead on our #1 seed.
Yep, so I think just give me a minute as we get set up for game two. But since this is a VOD replay, it is going to be very easy for us to just skip ahead.
Yeah, let me pull up the pro draft here from our next series. Get that up and start talking about it. So. All right. Whenever you're ready, TTU, we'll just jump into our second draft here for Game 2. See how both of these teams respond to a very explosive Game 1.
Yeah, looking at the picks and bans, the starting picks are largely the same. The Ezreal ban is new from Washed Up Wondrix. They're like, look, Dirty Band-Aids was too hard to lock down, did too much damage. We want to get rid of that. So they do let what was the third ban?
Third
I'm
ban
not sure
from
what was
last time.
Yeah, the other one besides Kog'Maw and Ornn.
So they had the Kog'Maw, the Ornn, and the Bard against
Okay,
Dr.
so they do let the Bard open. But Players Anonymous first picked the Volibear. Budwolf had a really good game. It worked out really well for them. Wash Up Wondrix answers with the same picks in the Yuumi Gnar, so they answer with Poppy because it worked out fine last time. They do select the Ashe this time, so a little less safe, more utility than the Ezreal, but definitely more vulnerable to being jumped on than the Ezreal is.
Yeah. And then another, probably the biggest change here for Players Anonymous is their selection of the Ziggs. Of course, the Fizz being banned there, along with the Diana, means his assassin pool is cut significantly down. So opts to go with this control mage. Ziggs has been a pick he's utilized here in the past during the regular season. One of his go-to mages. He's going to pull that out this time. So the style of play that they're going to approach these team fights with is going to be different. The Ashley Ziggs, two unique picks, but they stick with the same kind of core supportive tank champs with the Volibear, the Poppy, and the Lulu, like you mentioned. It's just going to be this Ashe and the Ziggs, which do present a different playstyle. So we'll see how Hanging with Friends are able to work around that. Meanwhile, their side looks formidable. The Gnar, the Galio, the Yuumi. They go with the Gnar and the Yuumi again, but switch it up in the jungle with the Tristana. Kind of an answer to the Volibear and the Poppy there, with the ultimate, the Subjugate. And then the Tristana, traditional AD carry for Rixie. See how he's able to get back into the 2v2 and fighting there in a pretty even lane. And then Gelati gets his Galio. Remember, this was banned against him in game 1. And Galio is just a really strong, just objectively a really strong champion right now, with his map pressure, ability to shove and roam quickly, get out on the map, play team fights really well. So let's see how he's able to coordinate in team fights with the Trundle and the Gnar to be able to get some big wombos, set things up for Rixie. What are some of your thoughts here on this draft for the side of Hanging with Friends here on the red side?
I think the Galio pick is good. When my team has played against washed up one troops, we've often found that denying them the global presence of things like Karthus, Nocturne, Galio have been really important. So the fact that Gelati gets the Galio into a Ziggs, where Galio is generally very good into most mages, it's hard for them to escape his combo between his magic shield, and I wouldn't be surprised if he runs Aftershock. He's pretty resistant to their damage.
Yeah.
Ziggs has enough wave clear to stall it out, but he's never going to kill Galio, not unless something goes very wrong. I'm interested to see the Trundle Volibear. Trundle is generally a good pick against tank junglers. He steals their stats. He's a good 1v1 early game champion when tank jungles are weak. So conventionally, I would think that he's good into Volibear, but Volibear is also a very good 1v1 champion in the early game for what is still functionally a tank jungler. So I'm interested to see how that matchup plays out. I know that Mayor of Huevos plays Trundle a lot. And it is something he's fairly comfortable on. So I want to see how these two shake up and who wins the Scuttle duels.
Yeah, and I think the mid lane priority is going to have a lot to do with that. Now it shifts from having a 2-0 at 3-minute Fizz into a Galio, something that can safely push and move out into one of those side lanes, try and threaten an ult in, or do something like the scuttle fights that you mentioned. So if priority is able to shift towards this Galio, then Hanging with Friends might have the advantage in the jungle. You remember last game, Budwolf with the Volibear was in Mayor of Huevos' jungle all the time, and he had support from his solo lanes who had that priority and were able to roam first to the play. Now with the Galio, maybe that's not going to be the case, and maybe things turn. Mayor of Huevos gets his dream set up in the jungle with laning support. So we'll see how it all goes. Have you got your game 2 ready to go?
I'm all loaded up. I'm at 5 seconds, so you just count me up to that point, and I'll be ready to go.
All right. Transition us in here. All right. Paused at 6 seconds, so if you just want to tell me when you've started it, and I'll start 1 second after.
All right, I'm at 6 as well, so let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Did Budwolf run Conquer in the last game? I think he ran Press the Attack.
I thought he did run the Conqueror in the last game. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it. I remember this from his duel with Mayor of Huevos right after Caged Reaper's early kill, where the Fizz came over and stole that second kill. That was a jungler fight before that, and I think I remember seeing the Conqueror proc. So, anyways, pretty sure it was.
Squirrel Sensei, he's walking into a bush. He doesn't know they're all there. Oh, he's gonna be forced to flash out. The slow is coming through from the boomerang. He does take the W, Steadfast Presence, and uses the movement speed to escape. Yeah. So they do force the flash and an unfortunate level 1 spell, but Squirrel Sensei gets away with his life, so
Yeah.
you're like, all right, I lived.
Yeah, a lot of upfront damage from the Hangin with Friends 4-man there stacked in the bush, but just no CC. If the Galio doesn't take the taunt, so or the Justice Punch, so just a ton of damage right off the bat, but Squirrel Sensei just able to walk out of there, and you'll definitely take the time that flash there if you're Tuba, and see if you can repeat with Mayor of Huevos' gank up in the top lane, get some early kills.
The fortunate thing is that W at least gives Poppy bonus armor and MR, so it'll at least help him take less damage from Tuba in this point. And I think he took double armor runes as well. He took an adaptive force and 2 armor runes. So he has a lot of armor to try to deal with this damage out of Tuba.
Yeah, mid lane Gelati just stepping up, not really afraid of the Ziggs. You got to be careful, you don't want to take too much unnecessary poke, but like you said, Galio great at dealing with control mage, just able to shove in the wave, tank a lot of that poke damage that comes your way, and be first to the play in river or side lane.
Though notably, he doesn't have Shield of Durand yet, so he doesn't have that magic damage shield. And when you're a mage like Cage Reaper is playing and you're against a roaming champion, you want to try to poke them as much as possible, because if they're low enough, they aren't going to want to roam because of the risk of dying on that roam if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Level 2 does come through for Bixby. He steps up looking for a little poke, but a Yuumi that's dismounted, as it were, isn't a huge threat. It's very hard for her to get the empowered prowling projectile. So Dirty Band-Aid is just going to be able to sit back, last hit, and get to level 2.
Wave sitting here in a really good spot for Cage Reaper, able to kind of control this a little bit more towards his side. Makes Gelati step way up.
Good taunt. The satchel charge is going to knock them both back, but Gelati's not taking that much damage.
Yeah.
Mayor of Huevos is actually doing the Raptors, but unfortunately, he passed up to try to help get the kill on Cage Reaper. They're going to flash stun. A lot of damage coming out. Bud will block under the tower. He's going to be pushed back with the Frozen Pillar, and Huevos claims the first blood. Excellent pillar play. Just a bit of an overcommit from Bloodwolf there, I think.
Mayor Huevos bouncing back, looking to have a strong game too as he opens with a nice flash pillar. And arguably that's what kept Budwolf under the turret for that one extra auto needed to finish him off. So well played from Gelati to escape, and TP's right back in and goes after Cage Reaper.
Yeah, Cage Reaper's gonna take a lot of damage here. He's probably gonna need to back. Unfortunately, the wave is pushed against him, but he's just too low. He's gonna have to TP back in, and Huevos gets to enjoy 2 fresh buffs, courtesy of Volibear.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it looks like Tuba took an early recall for the Cole. I'm increasingly seeing this popular with a lot of AD-based, particularly top laners and ADCs, is if you expect to be in a farm lane, just to take an early back and get the Cole for a little extra gold.
Yeah. No reason for him not to either against the Poppy, who does need at least a couple of items to start being able to take effective trades. Mayor of Huevos sitting up there in the top lane. Not sure if he's on a ward right now. But I think
Budwolf's looking for a repeat gank, but Gelati's just going to Justice Punch his way out of that. Gelati still had Flash, so realistically he wasn't in any great danger.
Yeah, we might see another 2v2 here as Mayor of Huevos is roaming over and spotted out on the pink ward. So both these junglers hovering around their mid laners, knowing that this was the pressure point that caused game 1 to blow open for Players Anonymous, or at least caused them to get that early lead. So Mayor of Huevos doesn't want that to happen again, and already he's successful with a 1-kill lead on the board.
Yeah, there's some poke going down in the bot lane. Dirty Bandit is getting the worst of those because Lulu's an enchanter who is primarily shield based, so she doesn't really have the ability to heal her ADC after trades, whereas Yuumi does. Lulu works more on prevention than repair, as it were.
Yeah. Could see Gelati's goal here in this mid lane, get that shoved in, able to Justice Punch out, clearing a couple of the creeps in the back line, has built himself about a wave of CS for his advantage. But his goal is always to get that wave just shoved out and move into a side lane or move to the play. Budwolf in the Dragon Pit. Sure,
yeah, there's no ward on it. Yeah, he is. He's low on mana here, but he's got enough. He doesn't have enough for any more spells, but with his attack speed from Relentless Storm, this should be a pretty easy pickup. Actually, he's...
He does not have the smite. Is this an execute?
It is an execute. Oh, that's rough. Dragon does percent current HP damage, so its damage does go down as you get lower, but it does have a minimum, so it can kill you.
Yes, and Budwolf Smite just a few seconds away from coming up. Of course, would have secured that with that Summoner spell. And then Hanging with Friends as Cage Reaper uses a nice satchel charge to get out. But Hanging with Friends hear that execute and move over to the Dragon, and there indeed is the fallen body of Mr. Budwolf, and they just back out and go to their lane. So, unfortunate loss of timing for the Volibear. He'll try and bounce back onto the map and get back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't lose anything. Dragon doesn't level up if you die to it, so... top lane looks to be going pretty well. There is now a pretty solid CS lead for Tuba, but again, Squirrel Sensei doing well in terms of getting the farm he can, and not falling too far behind.
Yeah, and this is the plan, right? As Poppy, you're not going into the lane thinking you're going to win this thing. You're just trying to get as much farm, hit your items, become a monster in team fights. Tuba's kind of messing with him around this...
yeah, he wants to keep the wave out of tower as best he can. Wavos might be looking at mid. Cage Reaper's not very far up, but a good engage from Gelati could get a kill here.
Yeah, it would have to be a
We're
flash.
gonna come down.
Quick flash.
But he's just going to satchel charge his way out of there.
Ziggs players that are really quick on the draw with their Ws are very hard to kill. If they're able to channel that before you get your CC down, they can always escape out of ganks. So, good on Cage Reaper to be able to be quick.
He's going to take some damage, going to go in with the Justice Punch Shield of Duran Taunt, but Gelati's now going to be forced to walk his way out and take some damage. I'd say the trade overall favors Gelati, but good job from Cage Reaper to deal the damage back.
Tuba gets that kill.
Yeah, flashes after the Poppy. Gnar is on cooldown, so my guess is he got the combo started while he was in Mega Form and is able to just chase the kill down in Mini. I think he will get this plate here for his troubles. Yes, he will.
A couple of key interactions there. Squirrel Sensei actually tried to pin Tuba against the wall, which may have resulted in a couple of turret shots. I'll hold that thought for a second, but no, charges down. But
once again,
the Poppy not actually able to pin the Gnar into the wall, and the charge actually took him a lot farther out into the lane, so Tuba was able to lock down more damage. And then despite Squirrel Sensei knocking up Tuba with the Poppy ultimate in the middle of his jump, was able to get that kill with the flash. Mayor Pueblos on the Dragon.
The TP's coming from Tuba, so this should be a solid Dragon. Yeah, they're just going to... Oh, the Mega Inferno Bomb gets pretty close to claiming it, but the smite does come through for Mayor Huevos, and they pick up that first Ocean Drag.
Yeah, not sure they needed the TP from Tuba there, but they weren't sure as to where Budwolf's position was. You can see there aren't any wards on that top side, so they didn't see if he was like threatening a steal. So just stealing that TP in for security. But now, Hanging with Friends, looking to contest here at the Rift Herald.
You get this, he's going to be taunted, calls down the... what's it called? A Sky Splitter. That's the E for the show. He's going to take some damage, but he does pick up the Rift Herald, so he does trade for objectives, and he can use that. He does pick up that objective and can use it to trade back some plates in one of these lanes. There's a brief pause as Tuba was apparently getting water, but replays do skip over pauses, so the game easily continues.
Not much to talk about here in the bot lane, as we haven't had any real meaningful trades. Yuumi, Lulu, both on hyper carries. Not going to be a lot of risk taking here. Slight CS lead does go to Dirty Band-Aids as a little bit of poke under the turret. Just 3 as the CS lead, but about to complete that goal, so may jump into a decent gold lead in the individual matchup. Now, of course, Hanging with Friends winning the map in general right now. So,
I do find the itemization from Rixie interesting. He is going for Stormrazor instead of the Infinity Edge, which for a crit-based ADC like this, you're usually going to build Infinity Edge anyways, but this is more of an early to mid-game spike build, where the Stormrazor gives you a more cohesive package, because it includes attack speed, and the slow and energized damage helps a lot early. But Infinity Edge is more about scaling into late game, so he's anticipating more of like mid-game team fights with the Hail of Blades is what he wants to do, rather than being like, hey, I want to wait for 3 items to really enter the game.
So a bit of a scuffle there in the bottom of mid. Is Budwolf in maybe looking for a gank here?
Good flash to interrupt the Justice Punch. He's going to be knocked back. But there's just not... Gelati's just too tanky. The Aftershock's giving him right now, let's see... probably 50 of each. 35 armor and 41 MR. Oh, they're going to get another stun. Justice Punch does buffer it. They're going to flash with Stormbreaker. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to get some damage. The Pillar is going to swing, but Cage Reaper with the Empowered Auto gets the last kill. Subjugate is down onto Budwolf, but he's going to be slowed and knocked away. Tuba's now here. The Minefield's down. Cage Reaper's forced to flash Barrier. He's throwing out the bombs as fast as he can to dissuade it, and they will get 2 plates. I don't know if they got the gold from the last one, but that tower is pretty low, and notably this is a Ziggs, and Ziggs is extremely good at killing towers.
Yeah. Gelati does go down as well to one of Cage Reaper's Qs, so a bit of a 1-for-1 there as the teams are concerned. Rixie we didn't talk about it much, but they went in on the bot lane, able to pick up the kill in the 2v2, and looks like Dr. Dad got away afterwards, after Dirty Band-Aids died. So completed Blade of the Rune King as that Cole cashes in, so able to hit a nice side of his spike, but like you said, responding with the Storm Razor is Rixie there on the Tristana.
So the overall gold is actually not very large despite that kill, with Rixie only a few, like 50 gold ahead. I'm curious to where that gold lead is coming from, because it's not like the minions overall are that decent. My guess is some of it's the shared gold from the Relic Shield from Lulu is helping out.
Yeah. And think about the Colt too. So as he cashed that in,
I forgot the Colt. Yes.
Yeah, was able to get a decent chunk there. So I think that's where it's able.
Yeah, because it's 1 gold each per 100 for 100 minions, and then 350 flat once you complete it. So that's 450, which would largely even out the kill that he's got.
Squirrel Sensei roaming down on the Poppy, potentially for vision, or if he's just looking to threaten the Galio. Dragon is coming up here in about 30 seconds, so Budwolf first to the play, but the priority actually goes to the bottom lane for Hangin with Friends, so nothing.
Budwolf's looking here. Enchanted Crusader is going to come out. There is no cleanse for Rixie here. He's going to be stunned up. The Buster Shot's going to come out. He's going to jump out, but he's going to be smited by Budwolf. Gila's entrance comes through, but Gelati's going to have to Justice Punch it away as they get a quick kill on the ADC for Washed Up One Tricks. Yeah. I'm going to guess that was well communication from Dirty Band-Aids and Dr. Dad that, hey, Rixie's cleanse is still down. He used it in the last 2v2. We can just ult him for a kill. And the final chapter, and with final chapter and Hero's entrance down, 2 of the big spells they would need to contest this dragon are out.
Always like to see the Ashe running the approach velocity there, able to stun the target and then quickly speed up and catch up to it, able to put on the damage so it doesn't become a stun bot. And yeah, that's going to result into the second dragon of the game being taken for Players Anonymous. Gold is about a 700 difference in favor of Hanging with Friends. We call some cancel here from Bixby.
Yeah, as a jungler, I always hate... Oh, they're just going to blow up the first tower.
Yep.
It's Ziggs. I kind of assume Ziggs gets first tower no matter what. Mayor Buevos is looking here. He's sped up on the Frozen
Satchel charge.
Good pillar. Sky Splitter's going to slow them. Volibear's trying to get some stun, but the flash damage comes through. Stormbringer out. Gelati is going to be blocked on the Justice Punch, but Squirrel Sensei is going to have to disengage as Tuba also TPs in to answer.
Yeah. Yumi quick to the roam there in mid lane, able to come in and back up Gelati. That may have been a return kill if the reinforcements from Hanging with Friends hadn't arrived. And Rixie also able to play fairly aggressive in that lane despite being a 1v2, and now Hanging with Friends threatening this turret here.
Yep, Nar's pretty good at taking turrets. They're going to get a lot of damage. There's not much of a wave left. Enchanted Crusader is going to hit the Yumi, but I don't know if there's follow-up. They're going to try to go for it. The Wild Growth's going to come out, but Squirrel Sensei misses the Keeper's Verdict. Budwolf is going to fall. Mayor of Huevos just getting a lot of damage. There's the Gnar. Lulu's going to fall. Double kill for Tuba. They're going to be forced to back up as there are no minions. But with the majority of the team dead, this should be a free tower. Ziggs is excellent defending towers, but he's not that excellent at it. Yeah. And there's going to be a turret answered back for Wash Up One Tricks.
Through no fault of Dirty Band-Aids, unfortunately Players Anonymous baited into a fight that they really couldn't want there. Had the Trundle ult available, had the Gnar ult available, used both of those in the fight. Were able to protect the Yumi just long enough to where she was able to get to safety and start impacting the fight with her healing and shielding. So not a lot of damage there as backup with Cage Reaper having been pushed off. So big fight there for Hanging with Friends, and they're in a really strong position here in Game 2, up 3,000 gold.
Yeah, at this point, top lane has a 3,000 gold lead, 60 CS, at least a couple of turret plates, 3 kills on the Gnar. He's very strong, able to get that split push, pressure going out. Huevos is going full tank, which is good and bad. It makes him an excellent frontliner. It lets him get just tremendous disruption off. The downside I do find is that tank Trundle tends to fall off. He doesn't initiate very well. He doesn't have a lot of CC or damage if he goes full tank. So if they do hold on well enough, Players Anonymous do have the knowledge of knowing that the Trundle is going to kind of fall off. There's a TP coming in. This is going to be Gelati. Huevos is going to get the Subjugate down. Hero's Entrance coming through. The jump is going to be blocked by Steadfast Presence. Budwell's forced to flash out after picking up the Rift Herald. Squirrel Sensei may be left for dead here. It's a good satchel charge. Gelati flashes in, but he's going to trade his life. Tuba's trying to chase, but he's going to get stunned up. He needs to go Mega real fast, but he just gets the Mega through, but he doesn't have a good ult target, and the damage comes through. 750 gold shutdown to Caged Reaper. Huevos is forced to run at relatively low HP, and that's a one fight for Players Anonymous.
Yeah, Hanging with Friends. Guys furious that they didn't get the Rift Tail, and they chased a little bit too far there. Tuba able to pull off that Mega Gnar, but just not able to find a target to focus. Players Anonymous split very well there at the end of the fight in all different directions, and you can see him kind of spinning around in a circle, wondering who he's going to go after there. And Cage Reaper drops the bomb on him at the end. So 2 kills there, and Rift Herald that's going to net a turret for Budwolf here in the top lane. But
he's probably going to need to run here. Yep, he's out. He's just going to make his way down the lane, using that 1,000 Pierce Bear skin. It's a pretty dope skin.
Fairly close game here. We have about a 1,500 gold lead here for Hanging with Friends. The Infernal Dragon is up next on the table, and we have just gone under a minute until that is now available. So Rixie just coming off a back, able to finish those Berserker Greaves as well as pick up the BF sword. So he's in a pretty strong position right now, looking to fight around with this dragon. Mayor of Huevos walking down from the top lane. Both teams, you can instantly see it in their posture and their movements. They know that this is the next objective. Even with 30 seconds left on the clock, they're fighting to get wave priority and to get the vision around that objective.
I think Huevos may be trying to get enough gold to finish his Dead Man's plate before Dragon comes up, but I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah.
So poke going down into Rixie. Zumi's going to heal him out. I was wondering if Dirty Bandit's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, don't think they knew who was behind him. But here's
As
the fight.
comes out, Budwell forced Stormbringer out very early. Subjugate does go down in trade. Squirrel Sensei's on the flank. He can look to ult people away with that Keeper's Verdict, but with the Volibear ult down, he no longer has that burst of tankiness and damage available to him. And that way in the backline, Mega Inferno Bomb is going to get a good amount of damage out. The team is getting split. It's a good Keeper's Verdict, but Budwolf is exploded by the explosive charge. Squirrel Sensei's going to the back line. Rixie's going to force the cleanse out. Wild Growth comes through. July's in the middle. He is just going to make it out with the Hero's Entrance. Hero's Exit in this case.
Yeah.
Dirty Band-Aids is very low, but the health advantage is on the side of Players Anonymous for now. Yumi does have mana, and she's going to keep popping those zoomies, but with the high max HP cost, Mayor of Huevos and Tuba are separated. A bad blast node separates them, but they're going to take out Squirrel Sensei. Caged Reaper and Dirty Band-Aids now don't have a front line. Huevos is looking for it. He's going to flash, get the chomp. He's going to go down in return, but Rixie jumps in. There's no mana on Dirty Band-Aids to fight, and Rixie is a Yumi attached to him. He's basically got a bunch of health potions that a cat's just handed to him.
Yeah, and with 2 down here for Players Anonymous, this might be the call to settle in on the dragon here. Rixie jumping in.
They can't get the full bomb stacks, even with the Hail of Blades, and so they're not able to get the reset. I think that's what Rixie was looking for. 4 autos into another jump. Trundle does have the Dead Man's plate now. He's dead for 5 more seconds, but the enhanced movement speed from Dead Man's and Homeguard will get him here pretty fast.
Unfortunately, if they'd gotten the pick there, they might have been able to transition that into the dragon, but they kind of stalled a lot of time, and now the fact that they're going to try and start the dragon into a Volibear who has the smite. Mayor of Huevos is not there yet. This could be a clean steal for Budwolf if he just jumps in. Not sure if he is aware of the vision.
They're slowing the dragon. He's just going to go in there. It is going to be
my
a
goodness.
huge steadfast presence, but the Gnar is going to claim Poppy. 2 down. Just not quite able to smite it in time. His smite did go on cooldown, so it's possible he accidentally smited a champion there.
Yeah, or at least smited early or something. Mayor of Huevos is able to sprint all the way from base and literally make it in the nick of time to pick up that second dragon there for Hanging with Friends. And now, posturing around Baron. Not sure if they're actually going to go for this. I think they're deciding right now. But they settle on a bait here.
Yeah.
Take it though.
Tuba is pushing the bot lane. He is going to be pushed off the tower by the Ashe. And so they have started because of 2 answering bot lane. Baron, this isn't the fastest Baron take. Trundle and Galio not massive damage dealers to Baron. Rixie is only on 1.5 items, so this is pretty slow. Volibear is on his way up here. They've sussed it out. No, he's not. He's doing his wolves.
Yeah. Caged Reaper walking over. He might be the one to check this out. There might be going into the group.
It's down to about 3k HP. He could try to ult in. The TP's coming through, and Budwolf is going to disengage. They're going to have to give that up, I believe.
Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, Tuba doing a good job of distracting right there with the teleport. And they might want to fight here.
He doesn't make it over the wall. Tuba's going to go after him, and the boomerang toss is going to pick up the kill after Tuba flashes through. Budwolf is forced to burn the flash after unfortunate ultimate. Tuba goes Mega. He might be looking for an ult here, but I think they just want to try to pressure the waves in.
Yeah, without the flash here, not sure if he's going to be able to get in. Yeah.
He's actually taking a lot of damage here, even with the Yuumi healing. The Cage Reaper is isolated by the pillar and just blown up. Mega Inferno Bomb trades some damage back, but Gelati is going to escape with almost no health.
Yeah, survivability has been insane from Hanging with Friends this game. Able to get away with slivers of HP. Both Gelati and Tuba escape from that fight. Are able to pick up a kill. And then, of course, the Baron still active on all of them here, going for the next couple minutes.
Yeah, Dirty Band-Aids, I feel like, I don't know how you do it if you need like Essence Reaver or Trifers, but I feel like he's just continuously out of mana, and Ashe is a champion that just really needs mana to function.
Yeah, being able to proc your Q consistently as well as thread in those volleys to get the slows and apply the utility. So the fact that he doesn't have, or the fact that he may be lacking that in this fight is definitely not looking as strong and as threatening as he was last game. So, and a lot of the credit is due to Hanging with Friends and their ability to switch up compositions this game and able to put the pressure on themselves. Galio picked done a lot of work, and Tuba's showing what a Gnar who isn't falling subject to a 15 kill Ezreal and Fizz can look like.
Yeah, he's now 2.5 items in compared to the 1.5 item Poppy. By this point, Poppy had the Thornmail in the previous game. You're looking at this bot tower. Ziggs is pretty good at wave clearing, even with Baron buff, but they are going to get some damage on the tower.
XP? Uh-oh.
Oh! That kitty's done so. Mega Inferno Bomb, good stun. Rixie's forced to cleanse, but the damage does come out from the Buckler toss. Iron Ambassador comes through. They're going to pick off Gelati as well. Tuba's split pushing, but that is an excellent defense from Players Anonymous.
Yeah, that was just kind of the awkward situation there where if you're hanging with friends, you want to step forward and give that Yuumi a target to jump onto, but at the same time, stepping forward puts you at more risk at the flanking members of Players Anonymous. So, awkward there, and then of course, good guy Gelati wants to come in and help out, but ends up giving his life over as well as Rixie gets pinned to the base of the dead turret, and so all goes from bad to worse in that fight.
Yeah, I think Rixie cleanse flashed out, but Poppy had already started the Buckler throw auto attack, and it just followed Rixie through the flash and got the kill.
Yeah.
They're going to take the Scuttle Crab, which will help them set up for Dragon. I think they're all going to take a reset here to spend their gold.
Yeah. Gold right around a 4,000 lead here for Hanging with Friends. And they've got second item here onto Rixie, so feeling pretty strong with that IE. Tuba's looking huge with the 3 items, like you mentioned, 2 above the Poppy. So team fights could go any which way, but I feel like it's a little bit more on Players Anonymous to make stuff happen. I think Hanging with Friends will have to misplay in order to lose this next fight. Tuba built a rage bar here.
Yep. Let's see. How high is he? All right, he's pretty high. He's at the point where he won't. Oh, he's actually losing rage. I didn't realize he would lose rage that much when he. Okay, there we go. He built some rage. He's actually running down the Lulu here. with the Frozen Mallet, it's very easy, but now he's going to get slowed by the Ashe. He's going to get stunned up. Final Chapter's going to come out. He's going to jump over the wall. Mega Inferno Bomb gets some good damage. Tuba's looking for a target, but Bloodwolf goes over the wall. He's kind of now in the pit and isolated. A good Keeper's Verdict is going to knock the Trundle away. They've got them flanked on both sides. The Hero's Entrance is coming through. It's only going to knock up Poppy. Gelati is so low. Gelati's going to go down, but Mayor flashes in and steals it. He is going to fall. Ashe is going to fall to Rixie because of the healing from Yuumi, even through the Executioner's Calling. It's a trade in favor of Players Anonymous, but with the third drag going to Washed Up Wontrix, you got to imagine Gelati and Mayor Huevos are staying worth all the way to the spawn platform.
The Prince of Thieves strikes again, and the third Infernal Dragon will now be Soul for Hanging with Friends if they're able to pick that one up here in just about 4.5 minutes. Numbers advantage, like you said, though, for Players Anonymous means they're able to step into the mid lane and take this inhibitor turret. The inhibitor turret will be responded to, and maybe the threat of a chase. We'll see how frisky Tuba's feeling here.
He's got the Frozen Mallet. It's very easy for him to run. Squirrel Sensei is just going to get auto-attacked down. Jump in. That's another kill. That's going to be a reset for Rixie, but they don't have the ability to chase any farther.
Yeah, Baron in a minute, so the death timers really aren't going to mean a whole lot as far as that objective is concerned. But pressure in the mid lane certainly means they might be able to follow up with a couple more kills. Tuba looking for a flank here. This Ashe has got to be careful. Yeah, here we go.
Good flash. He's going to be stunned under tower. He's going to take a lot of damage. Tuba is going to fall, but Ashe is just going to get squashed by Rixie.
Yeah, so that's 4 members dead from Players Anonymous. 10 seconds on the spawn times from Squirrel Sensei and Cage Reaper. But with 30 now in Budwolf and Dirty Band-Aids, that may actually be the Baron. They'll be spawning right when it spawns, and by that time, Hanging with Friends will already be on and be doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, they're going to claim the blue. If they are going to reset here, which might give Players Anonymous a chance to reset and get up to Dragon and try to balance out some of the vision here. Poppy's got her full armor, but she doesn't have any MR, so she's still relatively vulnerable to Gelati.
Yeah.
Though I don't think she's his primary target.
Yeah, I think Thornmail is the correct call here, especially with Rixie having completed his third item. No armor pen there yet. This Poppy's going to do about as much as a 2-item Poppy can do in this comp. Yeah. Gelati with the Morella Namicon in addition to the Proto Belt will do some damage, but like you said, that
Dr. Dad's going to get slowed up by the pillar, but he is going to be able to disengage. Sky Split is going to come down. Rixie jumps in. That's a lot of damage onto Budwolf. I don't think he's going to have to ult defensively for health. I don't think it would have killed him, but it would have left him extremely low. And with that should just be a free Baron.
Yeah, pings go down to the Baron. They're moving their way over there. Budwolf is going to stick around here and potentially look for the steal. He's got the Lulu as support.
The damage is coming down. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to hit no one. So that's one of their big steal tools.
Keeper's Verdict. Let's see who
Keeper's Verdict is going to launch Huevos out. Gelati's already down.
Oh, man.
Rixie is so low. Rixie's going to go down. They're trying to take out Huevos. They're trying to stop him from completing the Baron. Huge Gnar. 4-man stun. Gnar takes the Baron. Tuba's very low. Budwolf's going to have to flash out. Tuba falls. Now it's just Huevos and a cat versus the world. Cage Reaper gets ignited. The CC's coming through. The Demolition Charge. Bixby has nowhere to go. He's going to fall. That is a 5-for-0 ace. It's a nice Baron if you can keep it, and keep it they cannot.
Yeah, unfortunately all 5 do go down and stuck in the pit. Their priorities were very dispersed there. Tuba able to do a lot of work for himself, but unfortunately with Rixie going down so early in that fight. Big knockup by Squirrel Sensei with the Keeper's Verdict, taking Mayor Huevos out of that fight. And yeah, big, huge fight for them. Ziggs AoE.
They're going to answer with the tib. Squirrel Sensei has gone top. He's pushing in the wave. They may be able to get a tier 2 there as well for a little extra gold. But he is backing out.
Yeah, so this game just got really interesting. The gold now has dwindled to just about 2,000 here, 2,500 as the lead for Hanging with Friends. But they do have the win condition of Dragons. Now, can they get to the Dragon in time to defend it, and are they able to win the fight there? We have yet to see, but if they do, it's an Infernal Soul for them. So they still do have that win condition to play towards.
The Leandries has come through for Cage Reaper. That's going to be hugely effective against Huevos, Tuba, these high HP targets that don't have massive amounts of magic resist. He's working on a Morellonomicon, but there is it's still only a moderate amount of anti-heal. Only Ashe and Poppy have it. So the Yuumi can still relatively freely apply healing, and Gnar and Trundle both have their own inherent healing. Volley's going to come out. They're looking to poke. Tuba has just gone mini. He is exhausted and cannot build up rage. He's going to get stunned here. Keepersburg is going to launch Huevos away. The hero's entrance comes through. Lulu's going to get shut down. Budwolf is just being auto-attacked. Squirrel Tusk is forced to disengage. Good bop there from Rixie. Looking for the flash, can't quite get the damage. Oh, but the explosives from Cage Reaper do take him out. But this whole time, Huevos and Tuba are just auto-attacking the dragon. Dirty Band-Aids is looking to answer, but they don't really have the ability to walk up.
Yeah, looks like this Soul Pardon of Steel is going to go over to...
Oh, it was so close for Cage Reaper, but it is secured by Mayor of Huevos. I saw it hit 33 HP, and I thought the bomb was going to get it.
Yeah. So, that's Infernal Soul there for Hanging with Friends. You could tell Rixie had the pentakill in his eyes there as he jumped forward on the Tristana, but just a lot of utility and damage coming over the wall from Cage Reaper to protect his teammates, and able to peel the ADC away and pick up that kill. But yeah, Infernal Soul, Hanging with Friends, they're looking strong here. And now the Baron on the table, 3 minutes away. Elder Dragon, 5.5 minutes away. We might have some hold time for a little while as we wait for those objectives to respawn.
Yeah, so with the massive amount of damage that, particularly, the Infernal Soul is mostly for Rixie. Tuba has a decent amount of AD, but a lot of his damage is kind of on hit based, which doesn't necessarily benefit from it. But Rixie's the one with the raw damage. He's getting a lot from that Infernal Soul and just massive damage on that splash. And Tristana, the champion, already does a lot of splash damage. He is working on lifesteal right now.
Yep.
Pushing down the mid lane.
Yeah, Jinx.
Though notably, with no Baron, like trying to push against the Ziggs without Baron is pretty fruitless. He's just going to minefield the wave and be done with it. And there the wave goes.
Yeah. And it's hard to actually 1-3-1 here as well, because the engage is really good for players anonymous. If they want to pull the trigger on one side, you can. So it's actually pretty hard. And
they're going to start Tuba. They're going to bop his... he's going to get stunned by the Crystal Arrow. Hero's entrance coming through. Stormbringer over the top. Mega Inferno Bomb's coming out. There's a lot of damage. Everyone's so low. They can't quite kill Tuba. Gelati is going to fall to Budwolf, but Rixie jumps in. Massive damage. Instant double kill. They're going to trade 2 for 1. And with that, a lot of the Ziggs tools are down. His Mega Inferno Bomb's down. They're going to pick up the turret here. Tuba makes it out, and he's just going to heal and pick up this red buff.
Yeah. The Gallia ult coming down there was perfect, and then it was just kind of like, who can stall longer until the carries arrive, and Rixie came thundering over the wall, was able to blast a couple of people there from Players Anonymous, and just made the stronger impact on arrival.
Oh, a lot of damage coming out of Cage Reaper. Yuumi is countering it. There is a Morellonomicon on Cage Reaper at this point, so the healing is going to be reduced, but it's still a lot of healing out of that Yuumi. Yeah, the Ashe with Runin's Hurricane and the Ziggs are successfully stalling the push. And because the inhib is down in mid, they need to leave someone in mid to keep that pushed out and to stop the supers from pushing back. Though the inhib is just about to respawn, so there are no more super minions. So Watch of Wondrix have more freedom to move around and posture for this Baron.
Yep. Coming up in about 24 seconds here, the recalls go down. They're going to try and reset and get out on the board. We'll see if... caught here. No, just able to get back to base on time. That would have been a devastating pick for Players Anonymous to make, but Tuba's able to get out of there in time, and Players Anonymous do have the upper hand on this Baron vision. We'll see how long that lasts. Mid priority is huge here. Rixie stepping up to match, and I can likely try and push the next wave out as well.
Let's see. They're using Scarecrow Chair. They may have caught Huevos here, but so much damage. Budwolf throws to ult out. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes through, but a Trundle with Subjugate. He is 329 armor, 127 MR. He is very tanky.
Yeah.
And so they just can't really engage on him because he's just going to R Budwolf and steal his stats.
That's the Volibear ult down, the Ziggs ult down, and also the Ashe ult down. So this might be the ghost signal. Rixie jumps in there. Dirty
Tuba's
Band-Aids.
in the side. He's taking a lot of he's taking some damage, but he is building rage.
Yeah,
He's trying to get Mega form. He's going Mega now. They're falling back. Huevos is kind of low. They're waiting for the healing to come through from Yuumi. Tuba's looking at his rage bar, trying to decide, can I go in here? But he will fall back and go back and push this side lane.
Yeah, against such a heavy utility composition for Players Anonymous, without the flash, it's hard for the Gnar to make creative plays to get into that back line. Oftentimes he'll get stifled when trying to do so. But looks like Hangin with Friends turning on this Baron. They're not going to start it as of now. Hawkshot comes through to spot the fact that they're clearing the vision. Don't think they'll set up a bait here. They might try. Looks like they're just letting Tuba do his thing, and this is really good for Hangin with Friends because look at the
Poppy
Gnar's
doesn't have the ability to stop it.
Here comes the engage.
Alright. They're looking for a pick with the Prowling Projectile, but they won't get it. They're going to turn back to the Baron. They have to answer Tuba because he's taking the inhib. They have to send Cage Reaper back. And without the Mega Inferno Bomb and all the damage and disruption he brings, Tuba's about to go mini. He does bounce. Oh, he's doing a lot of damage. He's going to get the slow. He's looking for Cage Reaper. Oh, both the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Oh, Tuba just gets the kill. He's just 1v2ing here. He may be picked off here. He is Polymorph. And there's the Thundering Smash for the shutdown, but the Baron goes easily in favor of Washed Up One Tricks. Cage Reaper is forced to Flash Barrier out. Squirrel Sensei goes down. Like, you don't have an answer for Tuba at this point. This is a 6-item Gnar with a split push build.
Yeah. Here comes Rixie, the other carry from Hangin with Friends. Volibear goes down, killing spree for him, now 12, 4, and 3, mimicking Dirty Band-Aid's performance from last game. With 2 people down, not enough to push, but definitely enough to look around and threaten that Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it's up. They're going to DPS this pretty fast. Elder Dragon is not usually threatening. It doesn't do a lot of damage to you, so they don't have to worry about taking too much damage as long as there's a smite available. And it does come through. That is an Elder Drag for Washed Up One Tricks.
Yeah, now with the Baron recalls, the play is go back to base, spend your gold, get on the map, and let's make a really big push and try and pick a fight. One fight with Elder Drag usually signifies the game, so they're going to try to do the same thing Players Anonymous did to them in Game 1.
Yeah, and so Players Anonymous are forced to mostly just sit in their base, try to collect farm in their own jungle. There's no objectives they need to go fight over. They're just trying to keep the waves pushed out and get what farm they can to try to get some items to help them deal some damage or survive Washed Up One Tricks. That's a 6-item Tristana right there with 75% crit and 2 lifesteal items and a Yuumi.
Yeah.
There's not enough anti-heal in the world for that.
Looks like they're going to do another bit of a split. Not as much of a split with going top mid, but they do want to get the Gnar in the side lane to isolate him with Riverman approach. No one can 1v1 him in the game. Tristana is a demolitionist right now with those turrets are going down in less than 5 seconds. So moving over, they might try and get this third hit.
Huevos is looking for a pillar. The Skyscraper's going to come down. Keeper's Verdict. Going to be thrown out, but it's going to miss. No one's out. That's an important tool down. They're looking with Prowling Projectiles. Rixie is just pushing the wave in. Lots of AoE damage coming off of this Tristana. They're forced to deal with so many Baron creeps inside of Players Anonymous. It's not a question of how Watch of One Tricks end this game. It's just a question of when they do it. Their engage isn't quite as good. They're waiting for Tuba to build up some rage. He is still exhausted. Oh, but Rixie goes in, and that is a laser shutdown. That's a shutdown of Squirrel Sensei. Rixie's going to get out. There's a 3rd kill, triple kill. Tuba's going to go down on the backside, but it's too little too late. He's looking for the Penta. That is a quadra kill, but they won't get the Penta, and Wash Up One Tricks will claim the game.
Wouldn't that have been insane if Rixie answered the Dirty Bandits Penta from Game 1 with one of his own in Game 2, but quadra will be enough as he leads his team to a Game 2 win. Crazy game, start to finish, and ultimately it felt like Hanging with Friends had things in control from the very beginning. That swap up with the champions in mid lane, able to get priority for the jungler, make those early plays. And then Tuba's Gnar was just, we got to see what it actually looked like when the rest of the map wasn't imploding. He was able to isolate himself, and we saw in that bot lane fight, even though he died, he had to attract 4 members to be able to deal with him. And meanwhile, the rest of his team, who had legitimate carries, were able to move over and help out and take the fight and ultimately the win.
All right, let's get set up for game 3.
That's right. That's right. Give me 1 second here. I'll mute us real quick while we upload our new files.
I'm ready. I'm at 7 seconds. 7. Sounds good.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Game 3 here. Silver Scrapes were playing in the background. You guys just didn't hear it because you had your volumes all the way on low. But production played it, so we can say we did it. We have the draft up here for Players Anonymous and Washed Up One Tricks or Hanging with Friends here for Game 3. Couple things look the same, but a lot looks really different. Jumping out to me right away, Cage Reaper gets his Diana, and then the Singed pick top for Squirrel Sensei. Tuba with the Mordekaiser, Gelati gets on the Oriana, and then a switch from the Lulu to the Karma for Dr. Dad. Ezreal gets through, so Dirty Band-Aid's able to get that pick. And Volibear, this is the third time Players Anonymous are going to take that in the jungle for Budwolf. What jumps out
But
at you right away?
that's Ezreal for Rixie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
Now,
missed that.
yeah. So the adaptations, Players Anonymous banned the Yumi, which I think they managed it in game 1 because their bot lane was quite ahead. But in game 2, they're like, once the Yumi is ahead, it's too hard to kill any of her carries. And so they just banned that. Washed Up One Tricks draft the Ezreal, which is a comfort pick for Rixie. Once again, Players Anonymous prioritizing the Volibear, and again, it is answered with the Trundle. I know Oriana is a comfort pick for Gelati. I find the Mordekaiser an interesting pick because that's more like classic Tuba, where he tends to be on like the Darius, the Mordekaiser, sometimes Renekton or Garen. And more of the lane dominating pick as opposed to the tanks and Gnar he's been playing for much of the season. Singed isn't a terrible pick into Mord. He's very good at kind of stalling him out and running around him. But Singed is also a very unique play style. And so I'm interested to see how Players Anonymous adapt to having Squirrel Sensei on that pick.
Yeah.
It's not quite kind of like Poppy. It's a pick you can leave alone, and you probably should leave alone, but it does different things than the Poppy does.
Yeah. And then the Kai'Sa Nautilus down there in the bot lane, an old time duo. Well, not super old time, but at least a year ago. This used to be when Nautilus was just busted OP. and Kai'Sa was as well. This used to be one of the most formidable duos to run as a bot lane. All the CC that the Nautilus is able to apply stacks the Kai'Sa plasma so well, she's able to get a ton of damage off. So we'll see if Ezreal and Karma are able to kite out and avoid the Nautilus engage, and able to stay alive in that lane and scale up, or if Dirty Bandits will take over like he did in game 1. Mid lane matchup, very curious. I played this matchup from both sides quite a few times. And the Orianna, I know Gelati's played Orianna against my Diana in the past. We'll see how Cage Reaper is feeling on that pick. But Gelati has done a good job, has gotten a lot better at being able to stall out and avoid these Diana all in. So we'll see how Cage Reaper plays it. This is definitely a skill matchup, I think. Both sides have the ability to win and snowball the laning phase in mid, but it's on whoever has the most patience and takes the right all-in timings that's able to take the win. So without further ado, I think let's jump right into game. Let me transition over
Take
here.
us away.
Then we'll get in here. All right, just let me know when you hit pause, and I will hit pause half a second after.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
All right, getting on the rift for game 3. Furious pings going down from both sides. It looks like we're gonna have
a double invade, perhaps.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird because I do see the Players Anonymous' team. You've got the Nautilus hook, the Volibear stun, even the Singe flip. They've definitely got the tools they need. Karma's strong at level 1, but the only hard CC they're going to have is if Tuba takes grab. He has not taken a spell yet. This may be a ships that pass in the night situation. Both teams are invading the bot-side jungle, but there's no one home. They're just John Travolta in Pulp Fiction being like, yo, anybody here?
Yeah, so the key here is the ward there that Players Anonymous have placed. So if this invade were to go full circle, Players Anonymous normally would walk all the way through the jungle, go out through the pixel brush, and neither of these teams would run into each other. But it looks like they're sticking around. Haven't been spotted on the ward.
Cage Reaper needs to leave pretty soon or else he's going to be late to lane. He does have the TP. They could be trying to wait and bait someone who's coming off of a leash, particularly if Rixie and Bixby take second. Rixie's coming around the corner. Ah! He comes into a dark corner and a bunch of burly men get him. They're looking for the hook angle. Flash, auto, and bop. There's the first blood.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate and great patience there on the late invade. Didn't know that was going to work. Ooh, the Karma Q almost steals it. Man, that would have been crazy if Bixby had got that, but...
Rixie just walked around a corner and Dr. Dad was like, hey, better have my money.
Yeah. We're going to see Trundle go and swap for the vertical jungling, play around topside there with the red.
For level 2 gang. There's no escape. A lot of damage coming through. The red buff slow is on Gelati. He's going to flash. No. Maybe trade it back. Oh, it's an execute.
That feels bad for Gelati. 1Q there as he was running away, and that would have been a kill for him. But it's a little bit on him to know that the Volibear is going to be doing the red side and not be prepared for that level 2 cheese. That's something he should have been looking out for and be ready to deal with. So fortunately he gets away with his life, and Budwolf set a little bit farther back in timing.
Particular because he only took the red buff and then immediately went to gank level 2. He's now lost the red buff, lost his own red buff, and lost part of his raptors. Yeah. So he's falling behind the Trundle and farm. And he'll have his blue buff to take, but definitely a gold lead for the Trundle at this point. Definitely a good CS lead in top for Tuba. One of the advantages Mord has against Singe is that Singe has to be very close to Mord to trade with him, but Tuba can just use the Q Obliterate to whack him for 70-odd damage anytime he gets close.
Yeah.
And so he does have a bit more of the range trade advantage.
Yeah. Squirrel Sensei looking for a flip under the turret, but when Singe does not have control of the wave, it can get pretty bad for him, and especially in a Mordekaiser matchup where Mordekaiser thrives on wave control and the ability to kind of dictate the lane. And Yeah, Squirrel Sensei collecting a few of these creeps under the turret, but
Last hitting is hard for Singe. Though it is pretty even now. Oh, Dr. Dad's looking for a gank. The hook is going to go awry. He's going to get the Stormbringer shield. There's a lot of damage going on to Bixby. And the last auto does take it. Budwolf manages to get out with the heal from Dirty Band-Aids. Dr. Dad is quite low, though. Struggles on his way in. There's going to be a flash auto from Rixie. He's used both his summoner spells. Dirty Band-Aids is forced to flash out and has already marked heal. So it's a 1-for-1. Both supports going down. And the kills both going to the ADC. So I'd say that's about even. Oh, a lot of damage coming out on Dirty Band-Aids from Rixie. He's forced back behind the tower without his support. And with a large wave building up. Kaizo's wave clear is not excellent. Acathian Rain is decent, but you have to be pretty close to the wave to use it, which does involve exposing yourself to harass from the Ezreal.
This is the first time, I think, in this series we've seen a lot of activity in bot lane earlier. It's been mostly around mid that both of these teams have played. And now that the flash was burned earlier from Dr. Dad and the Nautilus invade, Rixie got taken down earlier. A lot of attention has been drawn here in the bot lane. And another engage.
Good damage coming out under Rixie, but the shield from Karma is going to dissuade any further aggression.
Yeah, they spot Volibear in the river as well, so it looks like Rixie's stepping up to cancel that back, get a little shield and walk away. So.
Wavo looking for a gank top lane. Tuba's trying to proc the passive. He's going to get the grab. The Mega Adhesive is coming down. The flip is available. Wavos is going to be flipped at the tower. He's taking damage from the gas, and there's a flash Lunar Rush? Yes, Lunar Rush from Caged Reaper to claim the kill. Good TP to bail out his top laner. Good job from Squirrel Sensei on not flashing early and, you know, just successfully stalling out the gank, and they're able to turn that.
Yeah. He stalled out a lot longer than I thought he would, and just when he got to the edge of his turret, he was able to flip Mayor of Huevos back in. Just stepped a bit too far, and then with Caged Reaper being there, able to jump in. I think that was a really nice Q predict on the Crescent Blade, maybe possibly predicted the flash there from Mayor of Huevos at the end. People usually flash the Crescent Blade because if you dodge the Q, there's no follow-up double Lunar Rush. So possibly, if I saw that correctly, was a prediction from Cage Reaper. Very good on him to pick up the kill.
For a gank here in mid, it's not warded, but he is at half health, and Jalot has Command Shockwave available. If he's not careful, he could easily be traded back. Cage Reaper's trying to not push too far. Budwolf's going in. He's going to get the stun, going to get the slow. There's the pullback. Good Command Shockwave. Cage Reaper does not have another Lunar Rush available because he didn't hit with the original Crescent Strike.
Yeah, it was a really good Shockwave. If you're escaping with Orianna, you want to position that ball just behind your enemies as they're chasing you, so the Shockwave pulls them and you get in trouble.
He walks into a bad situation. He's going to get the shield. Sky Splitter's going to come down. That may become my new favorite ability name now.
Yeah,
kind of like LCS always likes to yell out "Sleepy Trouble Bubble."
Oh no, the outplay from Squirrel Sensei in the top lane just dodges Tuba's abilities, and unfortunately, that's a situation where Tuba's looking at his death recap going, man, 50 damage.
A lot of damage from tower.
Yeah, 50 damage from Singe, 1500 from tower. Unfortunate for him.
And that wasn't even with the ult used for Squirrel Sensei. He probably was healing off of Conqueror, but him having his ult available is a big advantage because Mordekaiser's ult, Realm of Death, is a very long cooldown. It's 140 seconds on a champion who doesn't itemize very much into cooldown reduction. So Singed having Insanity Potion available when Tuba does not have his means Tuba's going to have to be careful because he can't guarantee winning the 1v1 at this point. They're going to go for the Dragon on the side of Watch Up 1 Trick. They're going to claim it. Tuba is really going to TP in for it. He picks off Budwolf in bot lane. He's going to be forced to heal to escape, but Karma does go down as well. So it was a gank, and it is a 1-for-1 trade, but they do get an Earth Drag on the side of Washed Up One Tricks.
Yeah, I didn't think Budwolf was down there in the bot lane, so it's possible Rixie might have sniped him out of either the bot lane brush or maybe even farther up in the river with that ultimate. But yeah, crucial that he's able to pick up that kill because Dirty Band-Aids does return one back in the lane. Squirrel Sensei just doing Singe things here.
notably, he's itemizing tank here. I see a lot of Singe will go for the relays, the Leandries, these damage oriented. He is going for what I would assume is either an adaptive helm or
mask, I think,
an excellent pillar is going to block the dredge line. Dr. Dad, Subjugate's going to come down, but I don't think it's going to be enough to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he does have shield up if he needs it, so he's forced to flash, but will escape the gang.
No ult for the board here.
Oh, that's a good guy. Budwolf is not level 6 and does not have Stormbringer available. Tuba is forced to flash out. Did he? Tuba did take Nimbus Cloak and Celerity, so that movement speed is what's key to getting him out of that gang.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice because I usually see Moors either go Resolve for durability or Domination, which is what I go for more healing. But I think understanding that he's going to need to be able to maneuver around the Singed, he goes for the movement speed focused build because Singed scales off of your relative movement speed.
Yeah. So this is going to be the... Oh my goodness, Rixie steals it from downtown.
With the two-shot barrage.
Yeah, holy cow. Heartbreak for Budwolf and his team as they're not able to secure it. Now, meanwhile, Tuba and Gelati, they're starting to say, hey, can we get in there and actually pick up this Herald? So Tuba
They're trying.
Goes with the Mortal and uses it to step in and take the Herald. That is super
No,
big
he didn't
brain.
pick it up. It's not in the Death Realm. He doesn't get it. Tuba's now exhausted his ult. He's going to be hooked up by the Dredge Line, taken out by Caged Reaper. I guess the Eye of the Herald does not transfer into the Death Realm. Basically, nothing does.
Okay, cool. Learn something new every day, I guess. That's a very interesting interaction.
If you put a control ward down in the Death Realm and Mord ults you later, your control ward will still be there if you haven't replaced it. There's going to be a depth charge coming out. Dredge Line. Follow-up damage is very good, but the shockwave does come out. Cage Reaper's stuck under tower. Excellent pillar. Gelati manages to survive. Mayor of Huevos' pillars have been phenomenal for 2 games in a row, getting multiple kills, trapping multiple people under tower. They go a little deep, but the shield from Gelati, the ult just does so much to delay it and buy time that the gang fails. And I believe that was, yes, 150 gold shutdown to Gelati.
Yeah. This is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the game. He's really good at dealing with these assassin matchups in the Orianna, knows how to position, even if he sacrifices a few CS for a good wave spot and good positioning with the wave. He does not, he rarely ever dies to these all. It's just because of how smartly he plays and his positioning in the lane. So good on him to avoid a Diana Nautilus gank that normally otherwise would have been lethal.
Budwell's coming in. He is spotted on a control ward. But they're a little ways away, but Ezra, the Killer Instinct does come through, but there's a flash out of Bixby, so it's a bit of an awkward gank, but they trade a Kaisa ult for a flash, so I think you'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, not sure we needed the Karma flash there for...
I think he was afraid of getting stunned by the Volibear stun, which was still available, into like the Nautilus combo. They're going to get a plate here. Trundle's here. He's going to flash pillar. Stormbringer's going to come out defensively. Dr. Dad, he's going to go into stopwatch, but he's really dead here. He is going to fall with the Ignite. Rixie picks up that kill. Unfortunately, he's just not able to escape like the rest of his team is.
Valiant sacrifice he makes for
Diana's going into the mid lane. Ult comes down. Gelati is about to have Shockwave available, but there's no further dive from Caged Reaper. He does go for the Rod of Ages, which gives him more tankiness, but I think is a bit of a scaling pick and won't have as much damage. They're trying to dive Dirty Band-Aids. He's going to be able to get away with the supercharge. Bixby takes a pretty meaty tower shot there.
Yeah. You can see Tuba here holding on to the ultimate. Not sure when he wants to go in and commit to the Singed. But bot lane, here we go. Caged Reaper misses the Q.
Ezreal flashes, but it doesn't quite land. Caged Reaper is going to pick up Bixby. Rixie's very low, but there's no Killer Instinct available for Kaisa. The Ocean Dragon is available.
Yeah. Just looks like
it's going to be started up by Budwolf.
Looks like it's going to be Player Anonymous's Dragon here. Mayor of Huevos does have the Smite available, though, so let's see if he wants to go in and try and steal this one. Did have success with that, but no, it looks like he's going to be getting off the recall. Maybe he just canceled it.
Yeah, they may be looking to try to steal, but I think that Rixie very, very close, almost gets hit. Oh, tagged by the Prey Seeker.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, not quite aware of the possibility of that missile coming in. Mayor of Huevos without the flash, not able to get over and steal that dragon. So it's a kill and a dragon there for Players Anonymous.
I'm going to be honest, I feel a little bad about it, but when they redid Ezreal's voice lines, when they reworked his W, they added a fist punching sound effect when base Ezreal dies, and it's one of the most satisfying sounds I can think of.
As Tuba just dismantles Squirrel Sensei there with the ultimate.
So you saw an interesting interaction there. The Death Realm is not procedurally generated. It's not random where the borders are. There are actually preset Death Realms all across the map, and it will dump you into one of them. So, for example, in top lane, there's one centered on each turret. So it's not like Mord always starts in the center. He can't even start right on the edge of the Death Realm. And in that case, while he's under tower, it's not like the previous dive where almost entire the Death Realm is under the tower, only part of it. So Tuba's able to avoid some of the turret damage and get the kill on Squirrel Sensei, and Sensei does not have the option to retreat under his tower. They're going for a gank in the mid lane here. Skyscraper's going to come down, but Gelati gets enough distance.
Yeah. Holding strong here in the mid lane, got about a 20 CS lead here as he pushes the wave out.
Depth Charge is going to come out onto Bixby. Root is going to miss. Singe is here. They're going to flip Rixie under tower. He's taking a lot of damage. He is ignited, but I'm not sure Squirrel Sensei has the damage. He's going to flash out. The poison is going to claim the kill. Budwolf's here. He's going to get the stun, going to get the slow. A TP's coming in. That is from Tuba. Budwolf's going to have the Stormbringer out. Flash grab from Tuba. Massive damage from the Mordekaiser. And they're going to be able to get 2-for-1 kills.
Yeah, unfortunately with the positioning on the map, having Players Anonymous swap the Kai'Sa up to the top lane, and then the play was made around bot lane, that's kind of the last thing you want in that scenario, as that just meant it was a 4v3 overall. Players Anonymous do end up losing that fight, and it is overall, I believe, a 2-0.
And an excellent use of the TP by Orianna. Orianna's around the Dragon Pit. She was moving to back up the fight, but then Gelati TP's top in order to stop the Kai'Sa from getting the tower or even getting any damage on it.
Yeah.
So there's really good TP usage by Washed Up One Tricks to turn fights, to deny pushes. There's really no damage on, not much significant damage on any of these towers, whereas one tower has already gone down on the side of Players Anonymous.
Yeah. CS leads across the board, generating most of this gold lead that Hangin with Friends have. That's a 40 CS lead in the top lane, and mid lane's around 20 itself as well. So, Budwolf trying to defend this turret here. Killer Instinct!
Bixby's going to Killer Instinct in. Massive damage on a Bixby. Budwolf is going to pick that kill up. He was 0-3 before, so that definitely feels good. Dirty Bandit's going to get some damage traded back, but they're going to wave clear and try to push this in. Tuba's in bot lane. Orianna's here and does have the Shockwave available, so they have to be careful. Because of how short-range Kai'Sa is, if she steps up to try to wave clear, she's going to eat an Orianna ult real fast.
Posturing around mid lane still, but with no objectives, I'd really like to see this Diana go to a side lane. The amount of potential experience she's losing, now down a level to Gelati. No objective.
Budwolf has started the Rift Herald, but he is on wards, he is seen. He's going to pull off of it as Washed Up One Tricks are rotating up to try to deny that.
I do think they might want to commit to this though. Squirrel Sensei, you see him in holding a base with TP. He pulls the trigger.
TP's on the way. The depth charge is coming out, forces the flash out of Gelati. Dr. Dad misses the dredge line. He's taking a lot of damage. He's going to get a slowdown. Good ult, but the command shockwave does so much damage. Budwolf goes down. Dr. Dad goes down. Squirrel Sensei is now trapped in the middle of multiple people. He's going to fall to the death's grasp. Actually, he's going to drop to a slap from Trundle.
Yeah, the team fight was very well coordinated from Hanging with Friends. You could see Diana flank coming in on the bottom of your screen there. Was not able to get the assassination on the bottom of the fight. And then meanwhile, Dr. Dad going in, not able to quite lock down the target, engaging just a little bit before those damage sources were there. And just a very split fight. Players Anonymous end up losing that 2-0, I believe, or maybe it was even 3-0, getting mid priority now.
I believe they did lose 3. They lost Budwolf and Dr. Dad. They're going to be able to push down this tower, get that. The Infernal Dragon is coming up here, and with some low health on Bixby and Huevos having, they may want to reset. Gelati has pushed a wave in. His TP is not available from top lane, so he's going to be walking back. Going to be a lot of damage coming down onto Dr. Dad. He's He's got this Gargoyle Stone Plate, but that only really works when you're in the middle of the enemy team and very healthy.
Ooh,
So
that's
you're
really
looking
good.
for Huevos here.
Yeah, that's really good from Mayor of Huevos here, placing down the Herald, stalling for the Oriana. Here we go. Here's the fight. Death Realm, and I think you believe he's got the Polar Bear in there.
Yep, Budwolf, he flashes the grab. He's going to come out of the Death Realm. Tuba is now ignited. He's taking a lot of damage. Oh, the Command Shockwave only hits one, but the Diana ult hits two. Pillar's going to knock Diana back into the True Shot Barrage. But Squirrel Sensei is now chasing. Flash comes out of Rixie. They're going to be forced to disengage. Budwolf's going to start the Dragon. They're going to have to pull it. There is a risk of a steal here, and Budwolf is low. So he's got to be careful he doesn't take too much damage from the Dragon. But with the Frenzied Maul coming up, I think he will be able to heal himself enough. Oh, very close, but it is secured by Players Anonymous. So they're now up 2 dragons to 1 in over Washed Up One Tricks.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see in these team fights the area of the spherical area of effects from Gelati and Caged Reaper. Looking at the Diana ult, looking at the Oriana ult, see which one has a bigger impact in the fight. You remember last fight, just south of the Rift Herald, it was the Oriana ult that actually caught 2 and was able to finish off 1 kill, but this time it's Caged Reaper going in with his Diana ult. Oriana ult, like you said, Shockwave only picking up 1 person, and with Tuba not being able to finish off Budwolf in the Death Realm, that ended up being a team fight win for Players Anonymous.
Yep, so they're just going to reset, go back, spend some of their gold. Diana is working on her Nash's Tooth, is about 850 gold away. I like the adaptation from Budwolf. He recognized that he's behind. He's still very squishy, so instead of going for the Triforce, which he did in both previous games, he's just going full tank. He's got the damage out of his Kaisa and Diana. He doesn't need to be a damage dealer here. He just needs to be tanky enough to survive the Mordekaiser or the Trundle or whoever's going to throw their abilities at him.
The posturing is happening around Baron, although that objective I suspect is going to be a little while before teams are able to do that. Just spawned there. I like the setup from Players Anonymous here. They have the 1-3-1 going with Diana in the side lane, Singed in the top lane, and then the Kaisa Nautilus here in the mid lane. Not sure if Diana's going to be able to create a lot of space for herself here with Bixby and Rixie. A lot of shields and heals and kiting potential there. So it's more of a...
Yeah, he's trying to deny this top lane push, but he probably doesn't want to fight Tuba and Huevos simultaneously. But he does have reinforcements on the way up.
Hanging with Friends ping out the ward that Dirty Band-Aids and Dr. Dad walked down here for Squirrel Sensei looking for the engage. Does not find it. They know this roam is coming up from the bot lane of Hanging with Friends, so they back off safely. Like I was saying, this 1-3-1 not necessarily about the pressure. Actually, I'll hold that thought here.
They're going to chase him. The Depth Charge is going to come down and try to buy some time. I think he's going to try to ult out. Yes, he will Stormbringer out over the Baron wall. But again, he's forced to use that defensively. Dirty Band-Aids is being aggressed on by Rixie, forced to supercharge out. He's relatively low, going to be forced to heal for the movement speed from Nimbus Cloak. Afraid of getting grabbed by Tuba there and yanked into that Shadow Realm.
Yeah, Hanging with Friends established dominance here in the mid lane and are able to push it in, but Tuba still does have to go answer Squirrel Sensei in the side lane, otherwise they're getting good farm split onto multiple members there. Ultimately, this is not going to result in a lot. Objectives are still a ways away.
Sensei's doing some proxying. He's going to have to run pretty far, pretty fast. He is being pincered. But Huevos can see the ward go down. I think Sensei will be able to escape out through the bot jungle here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to make an effort. Rule 1, don't chase Singed.
Yeah. Especially with the ult already going in the Conqueror behind him. Still has flash available. Ooh, Dirty Band-Aids. No heal there. Does get out.
Yep. Going to be pushed away by the pillar. Caged Reaper is pushing in bot lane. He's going to get some damage on this tower. Oh, he's going to go for the dive here. A lot of damage. The goop's coming out. Follow-up damage. Squirrel Sensei gets hit by the Command Shockwave, but he's not the one who's pulling aggro. The kill is going to go down. Caged Reaper is going to fall to Tuba, who teleports in. But Squirrel Sensei makes it out, and that is a 1-for-1. It is a shutdown, though, going over to Tuba, 150 extra gold. I don't know if that was worth it, considering that's only a 300 kill Oriana. Dirty Band-Aid taking a lot of damage from the missing shot. He's going to fall down. Multiple flashes committed. They're trying to get damage onto Rixie. Dr. Dad's going to go into Gargoyle Stone Plate. Squirrel Sensei is trying to get some damage out, but he's going to be forced back. Budwolf's having to run from this troll, who's just chomping away at him. The pillar should be coming out any second. Sky Sword is going to come down for the shield. Huevo's following. He's tanky, and there's the damage out of Rixie with a Essence Flux into Mystic Shot for the kill.
Yeah, the fight was so split from Players Anonymous there. Ezreal just able to kite with several members of his team right on top of him. Bixby and Tuba protecting there. And you saw Dr. Dad having to split off from Budwolf and Squirrel Sensei having to go a different way. They weren't able to handle the barreling charge that Hangin with Friends was coming through that team fight with.
Yep, yeah, you do see there is they do pull aggro briefly onto Huevos, but they are going to claim another tower for themselves. And the gold lead has now grown to about 4,000. This is often about 3 to 4K to the point where you're like, okay, this is a gold lead. That's pretty significant.
Players Anonymous here with the Dragon lead. Diana threatens a flank there.
Cage Reaper's taking some damage. The Mystic Shot poke is very strong right now. Ezreal does have the Muramana.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there. It goes in. That's the pillar. Gonna make Cage Reaper think
Ward's gonna come down.
Time.
They've got a controller in the pit, but it's going to be cleared out immediately by Watch Up One Tricks. Gelati's using the ball to zone. Dr. Dad's going to get grabbed. He's going to have to dredge line's way out of it, so he does not have that engage tool available. Oh, it is back up because he has leveled it. It's a very low cooldown at this point. They're going to be starting the dragon. Tuba's using it to get his passive up. It's now available.
Gelati's zoning Orianna ball there. Yeah.
Okay, the depth charge is coming out. It's going to force Rixie out of the fight. Squirrel Sensei's in the middle. They're going to grab Tuba, but he's probably going to go to the Death Realm.
Oh, Shockwave! Look at that!
Shockwave! Massive 3-man Shockwave does a ton of damage. Dirty Bandit's going to have to Killer Instinct out. Tuba's going to flash and follow. He's going to get a double kill. They're looking to chase on Dirty Band-Aids. Rixie picks up the kill. Gelati just gets a massive Command Shockwave, and that just does so much damage and just obliterates Players Anonymous in that fight.
So hard for Players Anonymous to be able to find the engagement with Budwolf.
Going in to try to steal, but he's getting CC down, and it is not going to, the steal is not going to happen. It is going to be a second dragon for Washed Up One Tricks. I would not say the steal is the right call there. It's only their second dragon. It's not even the one that will put them on soul point, and you now lose Baron for it. Yeah. I think the play for Budwolf would have been, except that they're going to get the dragon, it's okay, because that just puts you both on 2 dragons, and go immediately to Baron to get that scuttle and try to defend in case they go for it afterwards.
You can tell what he's thinking. He's like, okay, if I make this play, I can get dragons. I can get that third dragon, put us on soul point. But then after he dies, he's thinking, oh shoot, facepalm. I forgot. I get the Baron now with that. So respect the effort, but just wasn't thinking far enough ahead on that one. And Baron does go to Washed Up One Tricks. They have a really commanding lead in this game.
Cage Reaper accidentally burns his stopwatch, I think, while trying to put a control ward down.
Yeah.
And that's pretty unfortunate because it's not even like Zanya's where you're like, all right, I can wait for the cooldown to come up. That's a regular stopwatch. He's not getting that back.
I know, and it's not close to the Zanya's build. He literally started with the stopwatch. So that's another 2,000 gold before he's able to transition that item. So it will be a while before he's able to go gold again. 7,000 the gold lead here for Hangin with Friends as they reassess the map and decide how to allocate their resources. 5 minutes on the Baron, 3:30 on the Dragon. We'll likely be seeing some team fight play if they don't split up and farm. We've got Mordekaiser, Tuba's Mordekaiser down in the bottom lane, and then the Rixie going up to the top lane. They'll probably threaten this last outer, but it's most likely just kind of a split of farm and XP on the carries and wait for the next objectives. TP Diana.
At this point, yeah, she's gonna try to defend. That does make Tower invincible, but I don't think Cage Reaper wants that. He's taking a lot of damage there. Doesn't have his stopwatch. Kaisa was there, but I don't think that TP was the best call, given that all he had was the Kaisa. He didn't have any of his engage tools there or frontline with him. The Pillar's gonna come out to try to force them away.
I feel for Cage Reaper in this scenario. He's got the items. He's looking to make a big flank. He can do Diana things. It's just he needs some primary engage from his tank sources. He needs something to set up this whole play, and he just hasn't gotten yet this game.
There's a good flip. Huevos is going to be pulled under a tower. He's taking a lot of damage. Huge command shockwave. Dirty Band-Aid's forced to heal. Isn't dead yet. Killer Instinct is going to give him a shield. He's going to go down to Gelati. They're trying to DPS Rixie, but the healing is just too much. He is going to survive. The shield is huge from Karma. They're going to take the tower. They're going to take the inhib here, and with only Squirrel Sensei and Cage Reaper to defend, they may be looking to end this one.
Yeah, so much lifesteal, so much armor, the shielding coming down on Rixie. He's standing in the middle of 3 people, tanking them all, doing so much damage. they're going to pull off of the Nexus turrets for now, move back and take that second inhibitor here in mid lane. That'll set them up for potentially a transition to this third inhibitor. The waves are right
they're
there.
looking to get all three. I like that Tuba's leading the way. As a top laner, I also like breaking things. So my team will be hitting the Nexus, and I'll be like, guys, we could get their third inhib. They're like,
Yes.
we've ended the game, and I'm like, but their third inhib.
Yeah, 8-3-2 on the Mordecai's are leading the game in kills, and he's looked nothing short of fearsome in his last 2 games.
Yeah, there's no one who can really step up to him.
Yeah, and especially with backline carries like Gelati and Rixie. I really can't say enough about how well Gelati's played this Orianna this game, avoiding the Nautilus roams, not dying to the Diana a single time in the 1v1, when Diana definitely has the kill pressure there. Must have been really hard for him to be able to be patient and try and play for the late game, but was able to do so and has had some really impactful team fights.
Yep, so players in Anonymous are now forced to basically just sit and clear their waves and try to get some camps where they can. There is going to be another dragon up in a few minutes. This is definitely one that you give up. You're like, look,
For sure.
it puts them on soul point, but it's not soul.
Yep.
We just want to get the farm from the minions and try to get some money.
Yeah. I like what they're doing right now. Kai'Sa's kiting the way back in the mid lane. Diana's pushing out top. Singed's pushing out bot. This is what you have to do. Get the wards on your side of the jungle. Get as much farm as possible. Like you said, give up the drag, and hope that they don't.
End the game.
Yeah.
Looks like they're doing it. They're charging down mid lane. They've basically just come off a reset, bought their items. Gelati's sitting with an elixir of sorcery in his inventory. Like, before final build, that is the I'm looking to fight and end the game option.
Pushing these waves in. They're not going to be too over aggressive here in the fight. Oh, I say that. Here's the engage.
Yeah, all right. That's a huge dunk. Gelati is going to go. I don't believe Command Shockwave not able to be used. Dirty Bandit goes the backline, but he falls. Squirrel Sense is going to be taken out. Budwolf's trying to duel Tuba in the Death Realm, but he's going to fall to the Obliterate. Nightfall comes down, wonk, and that is going to be the finals going the way of Wash Up One Trick.
Yeah, congratulations to Gelati, Tuba, Bixby, Rixie, and Mayor of Huevos for taking down Players Anonymous. They will win our Season 3 Ionian Division Championship. This was a blast of a series to watch. Super awesome to see the back and forth, the strengths and the weaknesses of both teams. Yeah, that last team fight was crazy. They all in one carry, but you got an Ezreal that's 7-3, gonna pump out damage untouched. So big team fight win.
So Tuba is claiming in the chat that Rixie called the Herald steal with the blind ult from base.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe that Babe Ruth called his shot in 1914 when he hit that home run over the center field wall in Wrigley
I
Field.
kind of believe Babe Ruth called the shot too. As a baseball fan, I kind of believe it.
Yeah, me too. So, yeah, can't deny the fact that Rixie called his shot here as well. 2 of the most monumental shots called probably in the history of sports and esports combined, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Congratulations again to Washed Up One Tricks / Hangin with Friends. You know, they really bamboozled us by putting that tri-code on the pro drafts, and so now we keep calling them that throughout the entirety of the series. But always a pleasure to cast these 2 teams. Like I said before the series, Players Anonymous, they started off middle of the pack during this season. They just got hotter as the series went on, and they were able to actually upset in the first round of the series. They were always going to be finals contenders, and they were able to make their individual skill and teamfight ability shine in the first game. But when it comes to longevity of a series, no one does it better than the old guys. So congrats again, Hanging with Friends. Take the Ionian Championship, and guys, that's it. We're done with Season 3. As a member of the Tribunal, I'm happy to welcome you guys to the off-season, and TTU as a new member of the Tribunal, same sentiment probably as well. So
I just signed up today, so if you want to sign up, it's open till August 7th, and then I think it'll be a few days after that for teams to be made, and the season will get rolling.
Yeah, awesome to have you guys in the chat. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday night and watching Hanging with Friends take the Ionian Championship and a very close 2-1 series over Players Anonymous. You guys all did well. It was awesome. Blast to cast. I'm sure it was a blast to watch. As for now, probably be ducking out for tonight. Go enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings. Those of you who are on West Coast, Best Coast, and still have a few hours left with which to do so. Anywho, TTU Phoenix and I, as well as our stream host Riot Deficio, will be signing off for tonight. Glad we were able to have him on the cast and kind of controlling the camera. So anyways, Take care, everybody. Good night.